Bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
All right, Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man. Today's Thursday, February 2nd, 33 days into the new year. There was just 332 days left. That's it. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black. For KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet, I'm your host, Jimmy Church. All right, with that, it is Thursday night, Fadernight, open lines all night long. Got Jon Rappoport in here with his No More Fake Newsroom live. And in a few short minutes, Ronnie McMullen of Life Change Tea will join us. Always love it when Ronnie does the drive-by, and he'll be doing that. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio, Facebook, YouTube. You know what to do. Just go, follow, like, and subscribe. Just go over to the website, jimmychurchradio.com, clicking on those little buttons, those little icons. You know what to do. You can email throughout the show tonight, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. Any questions or comments during the show tonight, hashtag F2BQ. It's Fade to Black Questions. You want to jump into the sandbox, that is hashtag F2B on Twitter. Very simple. All right. Subscribe to our podcast. We have over 600 archived shows. Custom apps, Apple, Android, Kindle, all platforms. You can go to iTunes or the Google Store, search Fade to Black, download the app that you need, and then just go and subscribe. $2 a month. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com. The apps have been updated now. You can fast forward and rewind and do all kinds of cool things. A couple of years ago, it would always take you back to the beginning, you know, and I get that. But they've updated them, so now you can do whatever you like. Okay, so there you go. Go and subscribe, $2 a month. And while you're over at the website clicking around, visit all of our sponsors for the show. Their banners are right there. All the promo codes for discounts and free shipping are right there at jimmychurchradio.com, and help support the show. It's that simple. That's what you do. I'm going to sip my Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee as I say that. You know, it's weird. My brain clicks every time that I do that. I want to sip me some coffee. Man, right before the show, I was talking to Ronnie McMullen, and I did a double dose today of the Get the Tea drops, and I'm addicted. I'm addicted. I'll admit it right now. I'm addicted. That's double dosing. There's something that happens. Your body knows it's getting the good stuff. With that, let's get the show cracked. Happy birthday today to Shakira, 40 years old. And, you know, I can't believe she's 40. But here in the bunker, if I'm here working and Rita's down the hall in her studio working, and the doors are open, I hear her playing Shakira. Happy birthday, Shakira. Man, she was great. Still is, I guess. I'm sure she's still out there doing her thing, but there you go. Our dead guy's birthday today is Farrah Fawcett. 1947 to 2009. Here we go. It seems like, the timing of the birthdays, and the birthdays for people that, I look back and, that influenced me or were part of my life somehow, right? And so we've been doing this show for so many years now that I see the birth dates and it's cyclical and I get it. And then sometimes it's on the weekends and maybe, the way that it falls through that I didn't do it, but I did last year. Farrah Fawcett. And she was a sex symbol. Besides Marilyn, I guess she was the first modern, sex symbol that we had, right? In that era. And seriously rose to fame as Jill Monroe in Charlie's Angels. And she was voted TV Guide's 26th greatest TV star of all time. It's pretty heavy. And that poster of her in that red bathing suit, sold 20 million copies. I didn't have the poster. I had the T-shirt. All right. The T-shirts. The T-shirt, I remember in, talk about censorship, I remember in junior high, that would have been, 76, right in there, 75. And our principal at our public school 103 in Indianapolis banned that T-shirt. You couldn't, it was 1 week, nobody had it. The next week, all the 11 and 12-year-old boys were wearing this T-shirt to school. Banned it. Couldn't wear that T-shirt to school. They would make you wear a gym T-shirt over your Farrah Fawcett shirt. Farrah friggin' Fawcett. Happy birthday. Died at the age of 62 on June 25th, 2009 at St. John's Health Center here in Santa Monica, California, on the same day as Michael Jackson's death, and really down the street from each other, too, as well. Stephen Knapp just tweeted out, that's the poster. That was the T-shirt. You walked around malls in America. They had those T-shirt shops, and which were everywhere. And that was it, man. That was you walked into one of those T-shirt shops, and that's all those kids were printing. One of those Farrah Fawcett shirts after another, man. One after another. 20 million of those posters were sold. Incredible. All right. Happy birthday, Farrah Fawcett. All right. On this day in history, OTD. On this day, OTD in history. 1979, Sid Vicious dies of a drug overdose in New York City. Also, OTD on this day, in 2014, actor Seymour Hoffman dies at the age of 46 of a drug overdose in New York City. Strange, isn't it? Philip Seymour Hoffman and Sid Vicious, both on the same day in New York City. There you go. Fader fact. The average American eats 1 in every 5 meals in the car. That's a Fader fact. Take the average out. Some of us don't do it, right? I don't. Well, once in a while, I guess, but and then you have the others where somebody is eating 5 out of 5 meals in the car. Think about it. Pretty trippy, isn't it? All right, tonight's another Fader Night with Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom Live. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. We're going to have Ronnie McMullen in here in a couple of seconds. And what I wanted to do tonight in celebration of our 600th show 2 nights ago is what I would like to do tonight on Fader Night. We went through our library and gathered books. So in front of me, I have a stack of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 times 2. All right, I pulled out a quick 30 books. 30 books. So everybody that calls in tonight with a UFO story, a ghost story, paranormal story, or a question, and certainly a first-time caller will always get a gift. But everybody tonight that calls in with a UFO sighting, UFO story, paranormal, ghost, gets a free book. And just to give you an idea, I have got like The Messengers from Mike Clellan. I've got Encounter in Rendlesham Forest, Nick Pope, 9 Waves of Creation, The Mystery of Scarra Bray. I've got UFO Highway, Anthony Sanchez, Ark of God by the new book from David Hatcher Childress, Children of Roswell by Tom Carey and Don Schmidt, Confessions of an Illuminati, The Omniverse, Alfred Weber. I've got an entire stack of books here in the bunker. They're just stacked up. I'm serious. I've got these 4 piles, 3 feet high, of books. So let's give them away. That's what I'm going to do tonight for you Fadernauts. All right? Everybody tonight gets a free book. Okay? So there you go. But, just have a good UFO story, question, paranormal, ghost. Make it happen. First-time callers, of course. Let's celebrate. Let's do it. We got through 600 shows. All right? No fanfare, no celebration. We're not doing anything like that. This is our gift back to you. All right? All right. Fadernight with Jon Rappoport. 323-825-5045 is the call-in number. We're going to get Ronnie McMullen in here from Get the Tea. He's got some new products. One of them I started taking this week. We're going to talk about it tonight, which is the pine bark. And I got to tell you, the pine bark extract is delicious, just like the rest of them are. But we're going to talk about that tonight and the other new products that he has got going. And with that, I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, the one and only Ronnie McMullen from Life Change Tea. Ronnie, good evening.
How you doing, Jimmy?
I am doing good, Ronnie. How are you?
I am awesome.
Well, you're here. You're here on Fade to Black. What is not awesome about that?
Well, you're the big kahuna. You're the man. Just to even grace your show, I'm feeling very wonderful.
Ah, there you go, man. There you go. It makes me feel so good. See, the thing is, and I know that you've been in the radio business for a while, and you've got a lot of radio friends. You do a lot of advertising out there, and you say the same exact thing to all of the other hosts out there.
I do not. I do not. Just you're hearing bad things. You really are. You are the big kahuna. Know that you're the number one. You are going to be the man. And I'm going to get these products in you all the time so that you can be there for another 50 years.
Why am I addicted? Ronnie, why am I addicted to this? What is it that it triggers in my brain that I come into the bunker, I sit down, I'm turning on all the equipment, and I'm getting comfortable, and then boom, I look at these bottles on my desk and I hit them. What's going on? Why am I so addicted?
Well, you're getting, I think, as far as the product goes, I think you're starting to love the product because you feel better. As far as your actual what you do as a talent, it's because you're the best. And I'm not just saying that to blow smoke on the other side of you, but you really are good. I've been around a lot of talk show hosts. I've been in this for a long time, and you've got what it takes. And I think the other thing too, and I always think this is an important issue, you touch base on things that a lot of people don't want to talk about, or they think it's conspiracy or blah, blah, blah. They're fake crap. And you touch it and you go with it and you run with it. And you're a justice man. You're about justice. I've watched just issues that you are about what's right. And I'll tell you, and listeners, you need to get behind this guy because he's going places, and we need to uphold him just like, we're trying to uphold the president. We need to uphold one of the best talk show hosts that's ever going to, hit the airwaves.
Well, all of that sounds good. Thank you. I missed half of it because I did another round of drops. You could hear it too, couldn't you? You could hear it in the microphone. Did you hear it?
You're addicted.
Dude, what is it?
See, I just talked all the good about you. Now we got to get this guy in rehab. He's got moringa addiction going on. So now we got to get him in rehab,
The amount of the supplements that I do from Get the Tea, from Life Change Tea, am I in danger ever of combining the wrong thing into the... Man, I feel the rush going through my fingers right now. Yeah, that's crazy. It's nuts, man. So anyway, am I in danger of combining things? Because I'm doing the tea every day.
Yep.
I do the colostrum, I do the pine bark, the olive leaf, the moringa, and the vitamin C, and the alley C. So that's what I'm doing every single day. No issues, right?
No issues. No. In fact, sometimes there's synergy because like the LEC has vitamin C in it, and then it has bioflavonoids. So the synergy sometimes with herbs, it doesn't work this way, obviously, with pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals kind of work against each other. You take one thing and you take another, and you could be so jacked up. You could be in big trouble. But with herbs, sometimes they'll go together and there's no deal. They just do their own thing. And there's other times when the herbs meet and they're like, hey, dude, let's be like Powerhouse, Superman, Batman thing. Let's do it. And so they come together and they are actually stronger, and not like 1 + 1 is 2, but more like 1 + 1 is 5.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes, it is. How many supplements do you take a day?
Between 25 and 30 a day.
You're kidding.
No, I am a walking supplement.
Do you take it all at once, or do you time it out?
No, I take 4 or 5 once, come back in a couple hours, take 4 or 5. Come back in a couple hours, take another 4 or 5. Yeah, I spread it out. I'm not sure, I've never tried it, but I'm not sure. I know one thing, if you take, let's say you take a gazillion supplements at one time, you're probably going to be in the bathroom like, the people that tried the tea for the first time in their life. It's like, hello, you're going to be in the bathroom for a little bit. So,
right.
So I just kind of space them out. And when you do, it works out really great. If you're on an empty stomach and you take 4 or 5, you could have a little bit of woozy stomach. But most of the time, if you're eating, something or a snack or have a little bit of cheese or something, and you take some supplements, you're good to go.
Now, I'm a big coffee guy, and I drink the Faded Black blend all day long.
Good blend.
Yeah, and can I take this up? Because I do. I take them at the same time, just like right now. I just did 4 drops. Well, I did about 4 times 4. I did about 16 drops. Because, when I do the dropper, by the way, I fill it up halfway and I do the full, that's what I do. I know I'm overdosing.
You do the Jimmy Rush.
Yeah, I do. Now, when I do that with coffee, because I just chased that with coffee, am I doing anything wrong there? Can I go ahead and do this with coffee?
I couldn't tell you the exact answer on that. Let's put it this way. I've chased it with coffee before because I'll do 4 or 5 supplements and then I'll chase it with some coffee because I'm not done with my coffee. And by the way, I am a coffee drinker, and the Faded Black blend is beautiful blend. It's great people over there.
Right.
Wonderful, wonderful coffee. But anyway, and then, what's kind of interesting about coffee, talk about that for a second. Coffee, they used to say, oh, this is really bad for you. Coffee's really bad for you. But honestly, the jury's kind of out on that. That's not really true. There is a lot of positive health benefits from coffee. So this whole thing that coffee's so bad for you, I think if you drink 20 cups a day, you're in trouble. But just to have some coffee in the morning, and I don't think there's any problem whatsoever, especially if it's good coffee or organic coffee, that kind of thing. This is a good thing. So to your answer, I don't think there's a problem chasing it with coffee, but I really don't have the perfect answer for you.
Well, there's a taste that you encounter with each of the drops that I take, right? Well, vitamin C tastes just like what you think it does, right? But the olive leaf and the moringa and the pine bark all have a different, unique taste to it, which I'm addicted to that taste. And I'm serious. Then you wash it down with coffee, and your brain is like happy. It's just an incredible experience, and I've really got myself addicted to it. Tell me about this pine bark. This is a brand new product for you. It's my first month on it. What are we dealing with here?
Well, I've had pine bark in the pill form, but you got the first dose of the liquid pine bark. And it's not even on our website yet. So if people are listening to this going, hey, I gotta have what Jimmy's got, it'll be up there in another day or two. And so you'll be able to get the pine bark. But let's go with this. Pine bark. Great benefits. It really boosts your kidney function. It helps with, believe it or not, hemorrhoids. If you have diabetic retinopathy, this is going to help your eyes. It is an inflammation reducer. So it goes and helps with inflammation in your body. It helps with arthritis. It helps, are you ready for this? Erectile dysfunction, helps with that. And it stimulates your immune system, and it's great for allergies and also cardiovascular. So this is kind of a really great product. And I got the idea for pine bark. It's not like something that's brand spanking new, and I'm the first one who has it. I don't want to give that idea, but I got the idea from pine bark because there was this tree in California that's called the bristlecone pine, and the tree, are you ready, is 5,000 years old.
Wow.
5,000.
Wow.
Not 500. 500 would be, there's some oak trees that are 500.
That's incredible. Right.
1,000. So older than Christ.
Right.
And I kind of say, wow, if this is the key, think of the DNA properties. That thing has withstood all the storms, all the earthquakes, all the whatever, right?
Right.
All the diseases, everything. So do you think pine bark is good for us?
Right.
I'm thinking it's a good thing.
Right. It's got its own unique taste too as well. It kind of tastes pine barky, but it's got a little chocolate, a little organic thing that I like to. I keep going back to the taste with everybody. Well, look, if it didn't taste good, you wouldn't do it, right? That's the first thing. But the second thing, it takes me back with all of these drops. It takes me back to the taste of when I used to chew Flintstone vitamins, right? There was a. Don't laugh.
Only you, Jimmy.
Well, and Flintstone vitamins were delicious, right? And my mom used to have to put those high up in the cabinet. She would hide them from us. But it takes...
Because you'd OD on Flintstones?
Yeah, man. Absolutely. And why is my sister bright pink right now? But anyway...
Talk about connected.
Yeah, totally. And it takes me back to, those flavors, those tastes that I got from vitamins when I was a kid. And I keep going back to that. And the pine bark does that too as well. So I don't know. Okay, so you just sent us 3 more supplements. One of them was niacin. I want to go through those 3 bottles that you sent us because I don't have those in the bunker. Rita has taken those. And she is going to go on a 30-day, starting last week when we received them, a 30-day regimen of these 2 as well. So tell us about those 3 products.
And you now, what did I send you again? I sent you the Essential Bees, didn't I?
Yes, Essential Bees.
Okay. Now, Essential Bees I'm really excited about. I mean, it's kind of loaded. We'd have to take the whole rest of your program to talk about that. So I'll put it in the super short, incredible short version. The Essential Bees obviously has vitamin C in it. It has B12, B8, B6, B7, B9. This is something, and the reason I call it Essential Bees is we need these bees in our body, but we don't usually get a lot of these bees. So they're essential to our body. And sometimes like B12, we go deficient in B12, and it's not a good thing. So there's actually people that get B12 shots. I didn't even know that till not too long ago, and they actually get B12 shots because being deficient. So this is something when you take these bees, I mean, talk about rocking your world. And what they do is memory loss, what else? The energy levels, sleep disorders, strengthens your bones, eye health, depression, helps you with depression, allergies. It just goes on and on. And this is just maybe one of the bees. Then you go to another bee and it'll be, cardiovascular and digestive and immune system, nerve functioning. These are all essential. So I put it in one thing so you're not taking 20 different pills.
Right.
And it works out perfect. So people really like it because like a B complex won't necessarily have those bees. A B complex has some of the other bees in it, which I'm not against. That's great, but you can get a B complex just about every store. The Essential Bees is not something that you're going to get in every store. It's 2 Life Change Tea, so that's kind of a cool thing. What else did we send you?
Niacin.
Oh, the Rush.
Yes.
The Rush. Has she had the Rush yet?
Yes, she had. She came marching in here going, my face is red.
I love her. That's great. I love it.
Yeah.
I do it. People, if you want to rush, you need to get the niacin Advance. It's the way to go. Here's what the Rush does. The Rush takes another B vitamin, and it takes you and it opens up all of your arteries, everything else, and lets things rock and roll. So you'll get a rush, and sometimes people don't like it. I remember my first niacin, I'll call it, I don't want to call it attack, my first niacin
experience.
connection.
Right.
Experience, connection. And I took this niacin, and of course I took 250 milligrams of just pure niacin. And by the way, niacin Advanced has 150 milligrams. So I cut it down for everybody so you wouldn't get blasted. But anyway, I took this. My skin turned completely beet red. It looked like I was on a barbecue, or I laid out in the sun butt naked or something.
Right.
I was as red as a beet and itchy and very, very, very uncomfortable. But you do that enough times, I feel an energy rush, and it's because it's opening all those veins. And so I was like, wow, this is a powerful tool. And so anyway, I decided when I formulated, I was like, I want to make sure I get the rush in there, but I don't want to rush too crazy to where people are so uncomfortable. I want them to know that, hey, here it is. This is a powerful tool, but on the same token, I don't want to go overboard.
Right.
And then of course there's turmeric in there. So I thought, yeah, what a great way. Open those arteries up and then put turmeric in there, which is great for cardiovascular. This is going to be a rocker. So it's got some really neat things in it. One a day and you rock.
Well, one of the things that we have noticed, and I want to thank you for coming on and speaking to all the Fadernights out there. You know how much they love you, Ronnie, and your company. But the one thing that I have noticed is our brain chemistry has changed over the last year because of you, in that we don't do some bad things that we used to do daily in our diet. And it's a trippy thing because what's going on there is our brain now used to the supplements, and they're coming in, so we're not craving GMOs or fast foods or things that we were, our body was getting addicted to, and now things have chemically changed in our bodies. What's the short answer for that?
The short answer is the blockage that's in your brain to your body is now being removed. And then on top of that, your body is now saying, I'm getting good stuff. In other words, you're not feeding me something that's trying to imitate food. It really is food.
Right.
And so it's going, hey, I like this. And now you'll find, and we talked about this off air, you're finding you're probably going, hey, I don't want that junk food. Oh, hey, that food right there is really good. I want some of that. And your body's telling you what to eat, and your mind is telling you what to eat, which is going to only make you healthier, sharper, and ready to go. Yeah,
it's amazing the transformation that has occurred in this household, and we got to thank you for that, man. You are the best, Ronnie. And thank you again for stopping by. And everybody, just click on the banner over at jimmychurchradio.com. Forget the tea, Life Change Tea. It'll take you straight over there. Use the promo code Jimmy either online or over the phone, and you're going to get yourself some free shipping. Why? Because you know Ronnie. Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you, brother.
You're the best. Ronnie McMullen, everybody. GetTheTea.com. Going to take a quick break. This is Fadernight. Yeah, doing a little special celebration tonight. Everybody tonight's going to get a free book. Just make the stories good, or the question even better. And I'll be right back with Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom Live. Stay with us.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Tepe.
Hi, folks. In a world of GMO, genetically modified organisms, that is, chemicals, processed foods, and a healthcare system that's unraveling like a cheap suit, it's time to prepare. God created herbs, and herbs help man. Our body can heal itself, just sometimes we need assistance. You need some help? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our mild detox is quite powerful with its unique blend of 8 different herbs. And if you're looking for more, our non-GMO supplements will help you with different needs you might have. Health should be a top priority. Take care of your health naturally. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Give your body a treat. Let the herbs do their thing naturally. Read all the testimonies on the website, GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Sickness and viruses are like intruders, and herbs are like warriors. Let the tea work for you. That's GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station where the Fadernauts rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
And now, coming to you from the No More Fake newsroom in deep space, which is the space that we suspect to be true, that the world as it is fed to us every single day by the Ministry of Truth is a lie, a false reality, a movie projected on the screen of our subconscious. This, however, is the breakout. All the screens crash. They all go down, and we see the light of day, a new day. No more robots, no more androids. It's the No More Fake newsroom with Jon Rappoport. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Jimmy. Good one tonight, folks. Big one. This is all about the Ministry of Truth in Australia. This has been, I don't know what to say here. This is so much stuff. And it's all coming from the government and from big-time media in Australia, and it has to do with vaccines. There are 2 or 3 major media corporations in Australia, a land of about 23 million people, so they dominate the landscape. Rupert Murdoch, a couple of others. And they are virulently pro-vaccine to the point where they will do just about anything to silence people who have a voice of truth about vaccines and the harm that vaccines cause, or who even question vaccines, or who want the freedom to choose whether or not to vaccinate their children. And the problem is that there are not enough alternative, independent sources of media in Australia. And there are not enough that enough people are paying attention to. There are some great ones in Australia, and the information I'm going to give you tonight is from them. And I'm going to tell you what they are, because they've been doing courageous work against tremendous odds. But we're talking about the shutdown of freedom of speech in Australia by the Ministry of Truth, and horrendous things that are being done to people who speak out. So if you're sitting by a computer or you have a pencil or pen in your hand, I want you to write down these websites. Krazfiles.com, C-R-A-Z-Z, Krazfiles.com. Truthlibrary.info. FightPharmaCorruption.com. And then the website for the Australian Vaccine Network, avn.org.au. The people who are working out of these news outlets, and they are news outlets, independent news outlets, are doing heroic work. Many more such outlets must spring up in Australia to present a powerful enough front against the Ministry of Truth. Now, as I've mentioned on the show before, the Australian government has mandated vaccines for school children, and families receiving any of several different government benefits, we're talking about money, who don't comply with the mandated vaccine schedule for their children have that money taken away. Government press release. Our no jab, that's injection, no pay policy. They just put it right out there. No jab, no pay. Has seen vaccination rates improving rapidly, ensuring Australia has a herd immunity, will keep children and communities safe. That's why we're aiming for 95% of children to be immunized. Families currently receiving child care benefit and child care rebate, those are the programs, have just over a week left to get their child's immunizations on track by 18 March 2016, so that's gone, to avoid the risk of losing child care payments. Okay. That's the beginning. The people who are speaking out against vaccines in Australia are harassed, attacked, intimidated online. Their names and cities of residence are being published online. They are receiving death threats. In one case, horrific, horrible, grotesque images were posted to that person. Here's a release, 2016, October, from the Castlemaine Local and International Film Festival. Since announcing the premiere Australian screening of the controversial film Vaxxed, which is all about a vaccine whistleblower at the CDC. I've talked about this many times on this program. Our community-based film festival has suffered a campaign of highly coordinated abuse and intimidation. It has come to the point where members of the team, meaning the film festival team, feel personally and professionally threatened. This is unacceptable. It's a sad reflection on the state of Australian democracy that legitimate questions cannot be raised in a public forum without inciting a campaign of ill-informed and dishonest intimidation. It is with the utmost regret, therefore, that the film festival leaders compelled, for clear reasons of personal and public safety, to withdraw the screening from the program. Intimidation, threats, fear for public and personal safety, canceling the film Vaxxed. We now go to a report from another important website, the Bolen Report, Bolen, August 12, 2012. 6 phone calls were received by Merrill Dory, president of the Australian Vaccination Network. These calls were made between approximately 2:15 and 3:30 that morning, speaking about a specific morning. Attached are recordings of 2 out of 6 of these calls. Please listen to Die in a Fire and Just Burn. Those were messages that were left for Merrill Dory. Okay? President of the Australian Vaccination Network, who wants to get out the truth and exercise free speech on the subject of vaccines. She gets these messages. Die in a fire, just burn. As you listen, please keep in mind that making calls such as this is considered to be a criminal act under current Australian legislation. Hideous images were also sent to her, and they are hideous. Ms. Dorsey traced the phone number from which these calls originated, her trace indicated that they had come from the home of a person who is a manager of the Stop the AVN Facebook page, Stop the Australian Vaccination Network Facebook page. The police have done a thorough investigation of this information and has, as of September 28, 2012, officially confirmed that the calls did indeed originate from this person's home. And then we see an announcement by Merrill Dory. Today, a magistrate granted interim apprehended violence orders. That's like a, you can't go near, you can't contact, and named several people who were responsible for these hideous attempts at intimidation. Now we come to another issue, the Jill Hennessy affair. Jill Hennessy is the Minister of Health of Victoria, the Victoria area of Australia, claimed on television that claimed on television, okay, that she was receiving horrible tweets from anti-vaccine people. And now we have a release from the Truth Library, one of the sites I cited at the beginning here. Abusive tweet drama. Health Minister Jill Hennessy caught out fabricating lies. Victorian Minister of Health Jill Hennessy recently went public with a video full of abusive tweets, in quotes, which has been proven to be nothing more than a mass media publicity hoax. Okay? Now, I've read the release here, which I'll read the rest up to you. I've also read another article from another independent media outlet in Australia, and I believe that what I'm about to read to you is a credible piece of information. I have not personally checked all the details, but from everything that I've read, I would say that this story I'm about to summarize here is credible. Evidence has revealed the tweets were either fabricated or farmed from closed and secret Facebook groups. One of the usernames quoted in the fabricated tweets, in other words, supposed sender of these abusive tweets to the health minister, belonged to an obstetrician from the Netherlands who had never heard of Jill Hennessy. An official complaint has been lodged with the Independent Broad-Based Anti-Corruption Commission in Australia, and a petition launched demanding the health minister, Jill Hennessy, be stood down immediately, in other words, fired, and an investigation into her misconduct undertaken. In addition to fabricating an elaborate media hoax, the misconduct cited includes deliberately promoting the shaming of a growing section of the community with inflammatory descriptions such as vile. In other words, Jill Hennessy is attacking people who want to speak the truth and their truth about vaccines, who question the safety and efficacy of vaccines, who want to have free choice in deciding whether to vaccinate their children or not, who want to be free from intimidation, threats, and abuse in Australia. There are other charges. I won't get to them. I mean, they're significant, but I just wanted you to know that. I have also seen on one or two of the sites that I gave you at the top here a screenshot. It looks to me like a quite credible, real screenshot alleged to have been on the health minister's page, website page, since taken down, that claims a child could receive 100,000 vaccines at once without harm. Can you believe that? Now, assuming this is correct, and from everything that I've seen so far, it is, that this box, this graphic appeared on the health minister's website before it was taken down. This is the health minister. This would be the health minister of Victoria, state of Victoria in Australia, claiming a child could receive 100,000 vaccines at once without harm. So this would be the most, and I would be understating it here, the most Mickey Mouse health department on the planet. The most absurd, ridiculous, non-credible, unbelievable health department on the planet to make such a statement. Maybe one of these people in the health department wants to prove that it's true. An adult's immune system is far stronger than a child's, right? So why don't they step up and take whatever, 50 or 60 gallons of vaccine, whatever it would be, 100,000 vaccines all at once. Just prove it, that it's harmless, no problem. Here we go. Zap, 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 zap. Now, as you know, listeners to the show, I have been talking about vaccine safety, as in the dangers of vaccines, in various ways, in various segments on here on Fade to Black with Jimmy Church. And I have given you citations and facts and so forth that even for someone who is skeptical, a skeptical listener, would certainly invite extensive investigation. And I certainly believe to be conclusive about the dangers, the very real dangers of vaccines. So here we have a whole nation, Australia, which I believe to a certain extent is now being held hostage by the Ministry of Truth, by the major media there and by the government. Not only with an arbitrary and grotesque no jab, no pay policy demanding that school children must take the mandated schedule of vaccines, but also the intimidation, the threats, the lies, the attempts to shut down people who are simply speaking the truth about vaccines and the need for there to be a choice. It's vicious, folks, what's happening over there. Majorly vicious. The landmass of Australia is roughly the size of the United States. But instead of 310 million people, we're talking about 22, 23 million people, which means that in the absence of a truly robust and expanding independent media in Australia, with many more websites taking up the truth, 2 or 3 media companies are going to dominate the landscape in collusion with the government, and they are going to do everything they can to shut down dissident speech, free speech about vaccines. So this is the other side of the coin that I have been talking about here on Fade to Black a number of times, which is the independent media is winning the information war planet-wide. No doubt about it. Major media are not only exposing themselves in ever more ridiculous terms to be hoaxsters and liars, but the strength and the numbers, when you look at all alternative independent media, rising. More and more people are waking up and looking for the truth from independent sources that are not corporate controlled, government controlled, pharmaceutical controlled. I could have gone on a long song and dance earlier in this presentation about, the role, obviously, of pharmaceutical advertisers and major media and how they can shut down whatever they want to shut down when it comes to vaccines. So here, tonight, I'm showing you the other side of the coin. This is what happens when you have, in this case, an entire nation where, as yet, as far as I can tell, and I'm 100% confident that this is true, there is not yet enough of a robust media, independent media, in order to make a powerful enough stand against the Ministry of Truth. I'm going to repeat these sites to you again. FightPharmaCorruption.com, TruthLibrary.info, CrazFiles.com, that's CRAZZ, and the Australian Vaccine Network, avn.org.au. There are others. I haven't found all of them by any stretch. I'm sorry for any that I left out. Those are the major ones that I came across. But you see what happens. If there were 50 more of those in Australia, hammering away 24/7, because that's what it takes, on the subject of vaccines, coming at the Ministry of Truth from every direction, documenting the dangers of vaccines, citation by citation, fact by fact, documenting the failure of vaccines to immunize and protect against disease, fact by fact, citation by citation, exposing the Minister of Health. Great job here, but to continue on and on and on, exposing the major media for what they're doing to squash the people who want to speak the truth. Then we would see there comes a tipping point where you just can't squash everybody, where Pandora's box is open and what's coming out are the lies and the hideous, grotesque crimes of the medical cartel, another subject that I've documented on this show before. So I'm not exaggerating when I use that phrase. There comes a tipping point where the independent media voices take over and the people wake up in greater and greater numbers, and the power of the government and the power of major media to squash them and censor them and intimidate them and so forth diminishes and fades and dissolves and diminishes and fades and dissolves. And that's what we're looking for. That's what we need. That is the situation. With every story, I'm speaking directly to listeners now, every story that you hold dear and you cherish and you know that the truth is there, but it's only found in looking into the work of independent researchers. That's the only place you'll find it. Whatever that story is for you. And if you want to see that story gain acceptance and strength because it's true, what you need, what that story needs, is more and more independent outlets covering it and exposing it. Well, it's the same thing here, only we're talking about children's health, children's lives, neurological damage, all the elements that I have spoken about here before when it comes to vaccines. And underlying it all is the question, do the citizens have the right to speak freely or not, without fear of intimidation? If the government exists for any reason, it's for that reason. You know, the fundamental freedom. You're the government, protect freedom of speech. No, we'd rather squash it. We'd rather destroy it. We'd rather ruin it. Really? Well, what kind of government does that make you? And I want to thank the brave people in Australia who have picked up the sword of truth and are carrying it, despite everything that's happening over there. And I hope sincerely that their numbers grow and the number of independent media outlets over there grow. And I hope this message gets out to many of you. Thank you very much. That's my report for tonight. Jimmy Church Radio, Fade to Black worldwide.
John, thank you so much for that. And you sound angry, and you should be. But let me say this in listening to you tonight, is that the stranglehold that Big Pharma has had on disinformation campaigns on all of the media outlets, as we all know, just a decade or two ago, was just a handful. They were able to control everything, right, in print and on television. It's not that kind of party anymore. And now we are able to get this information out en masse, but they can't control it. I think they're starting to feel the pressure now, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Big time. They are. The thing about this case is that in Australia, I think from everything that I've gathered so far, yes, there are people there, obviously, who are reading and websites that, come from all over the world and listening to shows like this, all over the world. But what they're really looking for, whether they know it or not, are more Australian-based independent media outlets that know the scene there, know all the details, know the people, and reveal the truth.
Right.
So there's still a need for that over there. But in general, absolutely. The pharmaceutical stranglehold, as far as controlling the media is concerned, no longer applies when you look at all media across the board. It's just not the same as it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Right. Yeah. And they're starting to have these knee-jerk reactions. And something like this that is going down over in Australia, which we have been experiencing the exact same situation over here in the United States. But this reaction has been immediate and swift, and they know it, and they cannot control that. And it's your voice that helps all of this. Just thank you so much, man. And you're absolutely right. The real heroes are the ones carrying the swords right now over in Australia and doing this. And our reach into Australia is large. We have a big Australian audience, and if they didn't know about it, they certainly know about it now, and the campaign will continue. Thank you so much, John.
Thank you, Jimmy, so much.
You are the best. Jon Rappoport, and everybody, I will remind you once again, your day must start off at nomorefakenews.com. nomorefakenews.com, Jon Rappoport. This is Fade to Black. It's Fadernight. Open lines, 323-825-5045. Our gift to you, the Fadernauts. Tonight, all calls will get a free book. And all the books that we have here in the bunker are the best. So bring me your UFO stories, paranormal, ghost, your questions. First-time callers, everybody tonight gets a free book in celebration of our 600th show. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Opening up the phone lines next, 323-825-5045.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring two Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boom boxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code TALK.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black, Thursday night, Fadernight. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Phone lines are cracking right now. Listen, to everybody out there, I can't handle everything all at once. But I will get to all the calls tonight in celebration of our 600th show this week. We would like to give back to all of you. So just make the phone calls good. Make it a good UFO story, ghost story, a good question, first-time callers, all of that. Everybody's going to get a free book tonight, okay? And it's lined up. If you don't get through, just call back. I'm watching it right now. Yeah, it's all good. I will get to everybody. With that, let's start slamming the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Jimmy Church, how are you doing, my friend?
Oh, no. I can't believe I'm listening to your voice.
You're listening to my voice, my friend. I've got very good news today, what I've been searching for the last 2.5 years.
Well, tell everybody who you are out loud.
Jimmy, you know it's Laird.
Well, I know who it is, but they don't.
Well, then now they do. There you go, my friend. There you go. Just between you and me and everybody else who wants to hear about this, I have arrested my MS.
Oh, congratulations. You feel good? How do you feel?
Oh, fuck. Pardon my language. It was like hitting I don't know. It was wow. It was just wow.
Wow.
I went to see my neurologist this morning, and she started the conversation off by, "Good morning, sir." And I've never heard those words come out of her mouth before.
So you knew the good news was about to follow.
I did, and it has. And it's all because of our Russian friends and their pyramids.
Is that right? Well, that was my next question. So Laird, now, for everybody out there, Laird has been with us since the very first show. Been a great Fadernaut. He drifted away for a while. He had I can say had now, right?
Had.
I can say had. We're past tense. Past tense.
Yes, we're past suffering from it. Now we're still going to live with the first indications of it forever, but there are going to be no more lesions, no more attacks. So let's just keep having a hoot and going to the gym.
That's what I'm talking about. You licked MS. All right, yeah. Laird. And so you did it really quick. Obviously, you know that the phones are going stupid here right now.
Yeah, and enjoy the show, my friend. Congratulations on your 600, man. It's a good time to call you, my friend.
Well, no, the phone call coming from you is much better than that. And you did it with pyramids. So I want you to call back on another show and give us the full story. Will you do that for me?
You know that any day of the week, my friend.
Thank you so much, Laird. Write Rita an email and let her know that you called in tonight. We'll send you a really cool book. All right?
Okay. God bless.
Thank you, Laird.
Bye-bye.
You got it. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, this is Monica.
Hi, Monica.
Happy 600th.
Yes, we did it. And we did it with you. So thank you for that.
Well, okay, so I have a story for you of my first sighting and a question for you about Bill Cooper in regard to the story.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so in 1991, I lived in Lake Tahoe in South Shore, and one night I was out on the beach looking at the stars with two of my roommates, and I noticed 3 lights in a row across the lake, and they're coming toward us. And I'm quiet, and I'm watching them, and we're talking, and finally I look at my 2 roommates, and I say, okay, do we see this? And they said, yes, we do. So as these lights come closer to us, they change shape, and they're either in a triangle or they were in a straight line. But whatever shape they were in, they changed from, let's say they were in the triangle, they changed to 3 dots or 3 lights in a row in a straight line.
Right.
And started moving toward us. And I know it wasn't 3 separate ships or orbs because as it drew closer, it started to kind of black out the stars.
Wow.
So one of my roommates and I ran for the car and yelled to the third one, let's go. And he was standing on the shore waving his arm saying, over here, over here. We said, no, we're out of here. We got the car. We drove through the parking lot and said, let's go or we're leaving you here. And he hopped in the car as it was basically rolling. We drove to the grocery store and walked the cereal aisle and looked at boxes of cereal because we wanted to be around people. We were scared to death. We wanted to see something that we recognized as normal.
Right, of course.
So we eventually went back to our house and our other roommates were there and we're looking at the blinds and we're saying, did you see that? Did you see that? And they were laughing at us thinking that we were, drunk or on something.
Right. Well, Monica, how big was it?
So we tell them all about this.
How big was it? If it was blocking out the stars, it was pretty big, wasn't it?
It was pretty big. I'm bad with distance and sizes. I would say perhaps maybe like the quarter of a football field, but in a triangular type shape.
Right. And as it's going across the sky, it's blocking out the stars as it's moving across towards you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That's incredible.
Exactly.
Did it make any sounds?
No, it was totally silent.
That's even creepier. Wow.
I know.
How long did it last?
So, I saw it probably 5 to 7 minutes. I was just watching the lights before I said, hey, guys, do you see this too? Are we all seeing this? And then maybe we stood around looking at it as it drew nearer to us for 3 or 4 minutes until my one roommate and I said, forget it, we're out of here.
Wow.
I don't want to get sucked up into this thing.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. 2 quick questions before I get to your Bill Cooper thing. Did you report the sighting?
No, I didn't. This was 91. This was
Right.
my first sighting. I didn't know where to report or anything.
Right.
So, interestingly, the next day, my car was in the shop, and the mechanic's shop called and said, hey, it's ready. Come get it. And so I went to go get it. My roommate dropped me off and left. The brakes were being repaired. And roommate leaves, and the mechanic says, the brakes just froze. I just was backing it out, and they're frozen. So you're going to have to sit and wait with me while I figure out what's going on. It was totally ready. So I'm sitting there, and we're talking, and nobody else is there. And I confessed to what my roommates and I had seen the night before, and he said, oh, have you heard of this guy, Bill Cooper? And I hadn't, and I said no. And he tells me all about this speech that Bill Cooper gave, and he had a VHS copy of it, and he gave me his VHS tape. He said, here, just take this, and you and your roommates watch it. You can bring it back whenever you want. So I go back, and shortly after he gives me this tape, the brakes magically unfreeze. It was very bizarre. So I take this tape back to my roommates, and we watch it, and we're like, oh, my God. So this is my first introduction to all of this. and I bought Behold a Pale Horse, read some of it, and then loaned it to a friend who never gave it back to me. So my question for you is, around this time, and I don't know if it was Bill Cooper who said this or if I read this somewhere, and what part I did read of Behold a Pale Horse, at that time somebody predicted that alien technology would be introduced in the future, that all humans would become mesmerized by, and it would become some form of control. It would be portable, something that we would hold in our hands and carry with us. And we would all, like I said, be mesmerized by it, and we would focus on it. And I thought at that time, what could that possibly be?
Right.
And the other day, I'm sitting on the train. I live in New York. I'm sitting on the subway, and I looked down. I'm like, every person in this subway car is on their phone. I thought, that's it.
Bingo.
Who said that? Was it Bill Cooper? Was it somebody else?
No, it wasn't.
Like I said,
yeah, I don't think it was Bill Cooper. But yes, that was going around in late 89, 1990 through that period. I'll remember who later. But yes, you're absolutely right. And none of us at that time, when this was going around, there was a couple of different versions of that exact story, that urban legend. But anyway, we couldn't quite grasp the heaviness of it. And, cell phones weren't around. Certainly it wasn't pagers. There were no tablets. There were no laptops. And here we are today doing exactly that. And it's got all of us kind of scratching our heads. There was another thing, Monica, and thank you for the phone call, by the way. I need you to write Rita at jimmychurchradio.com. Don't forget, Rita at jimmychurchradio.com. I've got your name and phone number here. Just write her with your address, okay? And we'll get a book out to you.
Okay. Yay, thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. The other thing that went around about that time, 1985, 86 through 1990, was the chip and number and mark of the beast, right? That would be distributed, and ATM cards had just started. We didn't know if it was that but today everything is chipped, right? Your credit cards are chipped, and they're talking about putting chips in your hands, and here we are. As prophetic and crazy as that sounded back then, the reality of this happening today, because it's already started, right? But that part of it, too, we didn't really have a concept of what that was in the 80s and early 90s. But today, it's accepted. And it's a pretty bizarre thing to wrap your head around, that these predictions and these things that were said about this technology that would be on everybody and would involve the entire planet, that it would actually happen, and it is. So there you go. I know it's pretty trippy, isn't it? I'm not some alarmist, I don't want to go that far, but the trippy part that we have to accept is there's something to this. Is it the mark of the beast, or is it alien control? I don't know. Is it aliens controlling the banks who are controlling us? I don't know. But these crazy predictions have certainly come to pass, Monica. Don't forget.
They have.
Yes. Send Rita.
That's why I want to know. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Send Rita an email with your address so I can get you a book in the mail, okay?
I will. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you so much, Monica. Be safe out there in New York. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy. It's Carola.
Hi, Carola. I almost want to say Corolla. How many people say Corolla?
A lot of people say that.
They do, don't they? Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm pretty good, Jimmy.
Oh, what you got tonight?
Okay. This happened a week ago, and I haven't been able to phone because I don't have free long distance to the States anymore. But anyways, so I'll try to keep it short. Okay. Last week after the show, I started listening to Midnight in the Desert. I'm getting ready for bed. I grabbed my pajama bottoms out of the clean laundry basket, put them on, put a T-shirt on, jump up into bed. I realized my pockets are sticking out. So I tucked my pockets in, on the, so my pajama bottoms were definitely on the right side, right?
Right.
I fall asleep around 1 o'clock. 3:30, I get up to go to the can, and I get there and I realize my pajama bottoms are on inside out.
Trippy. Okay.
Yes.
Because
And
your
my
pockets,
cat-
your pockets wouldn't have been that way if they were right side in, right? Okay, I got you. Okay. So your cat.
Yeah, I tried. I took them off. I checked everywhere. I couldn't see any marks or any goop or anything like that.
Right.
And I'm the only one in the house besides my cat, and my cat is freaked out. At first, she was just laying there, and then when I went into the washroom and came back in, she was just, all her fur was on end, and she was staring at me. And we're the only two here. Now, I've seen strange-looking beings before when I was in Medicine Hat, in my motorhome.
Right.
Now I've moved to an undisclosed location that's just in a little hamlet, figuring I can get away from these weirdos. And obviously, they either, I don't know. I'm not childbearing age anymore, so I don't understand why they would have, taken my bottoms off. I don't know what's going on, Jimmy.
Right.
And I'm telling you, these guys are making me mad. It's a free will universe.
Yes.
They can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Have you, because you were sleeping, so you don't know if there was, any lost time or anything, or do you think that you left the house, or do you think all of this happened in the house? What did you, is there anything in a dream or anything that had happened or anything that you can remember?
I can't remember anything besides falling asleep and waking up and then discovering that my pajamas are on, totally different than what I put. And I tried putting them back on the right way and seeing what the pockets did, and put them on inside out. And there's no way I could put those pockets in with them inside out.
Wow.
There's no way.
Yeah. So this is pretty interesting. And I would say this. What you should do, this is what I would do. I would test, right? Let's run a test. Take a picture of yourself clothed before you go to bed, right? So you know that that's the way it was, that maybe, you were tired or you forgot or you thought you did it one way and you did it another, just to confirm to yourself that you are not crazy. That's what I'm saying, right? So
well, I'm pretty sure I'm not crazy.
Well, but you understand what I'm saying,
smart,
right?
actually.
Yeah.
No, but I know.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
But this is, I've seen these little guys before when I've woken up and had them in the room and then they disappear.
What did they look like?
So I always thought, well, maybe that's just dreaming, this and that, or whatever, right?
Right.
But this time I didn't see anybody, but they changed my clothes on me.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
What did they look like when they visited you?
What did they look like?
Yeah, you said you've seen them before.
Yeah, well, they put their face right up to mine. They got the big eyes. One time I woke up because it felt like a cat jumped on my chest, but I didn't have a cat back then.
Right.
And I opened my eyes. Here's this creature all crouched up on my chest, and he put his face right to my face. And then I pushed him against the wall, and he disappeared. I woke up.
Right.
So I don't know if that was a dream or what, but now I'm thinking that wasn't a dream. That was real, too.
Right. Yeah, that reminds me a little bit of Whitley Strieber, and you just don't know. See, that's the thing. When you think something is going on, right, but you dismiss it, right? It's just my dream. It's, it's not real. And then something happens, like your pajamas are now inside out, and something confirms that there's something going on, now you're afraid to go to sleep. You don't know what's going, and this all gets confirmed for you, and but thank goodness you haven't been hurt or anything. There's been nothing like that, right?
No, but you know what? I just want to cough in their face or just give them some wicked-ass disease so they'll just stay away from people.
Right. That's pretty funny. Cough in their face. Oh, man. Well,
I got a smoker's cough.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, see, and I want to thank you for the phone call. Listen, Carola, what you need, Carola, you need to write Rita for me. Write Rita at jimmychurchradio.com and send us your address, okay? And I'll get a book in the mail to you.
All right, Jimmy, I will.
Thank you so much. Be safe out there. Everybody's all excited in the chat room, by the way, so go hang out.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'll talk to you. There you go. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, what's up, Jimmy?
What's up? Who's this?
This is Jordan from Colorado.
Hi, Jordan from Colorado. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Everything is good, my brother. Everything is good. How's everything in your life?
Oh, it's pretty good, man. Just been working all the time.
Well, that's all of us. You'll never escape that until you hit the lottery. So, and when you hit the lottery, split it with me, and then neither of us have to work. How's that?
Yeah, then we can start a band.
Yeah, there you go, man. I'm always looking for the right drummer. So what's going on, Jordan?
Well, I had a question.
What's that?
What is the name of Alex and Eddie Van Halen's band in 1971?
Oh, come on. You got to do better than that. Mammoth.
Nope.
What?
Yeah. It's the Trojan Rubber... hold on, I had it right here.
Oh, see,
the
you
Trojan
didn't know.
Rubber Company. There you go.
The Trojan Rubber Company. Is that true? Well, they were always Mammoth. They were Mammoth before Van Halen. I didn't know that they had another band before that. They must have been like two in 1971.
Yeah, I have pictures of it. I'll post it on Twitter.
Okay. Did you post them already?
No, I haven't yet, but I will.
Okay, post it up on Twitter. I'd like to see it. And thank you for that, Jordan. We'll send you a book. Send Rita an email with your address. I've got you right here. Send her your address, and we'll get something in the mail to you, my brother.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks.
That was a good phone call right there. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Thank you, Jordan. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Mark from Chicago.
Mark from Chicago. What part of Chicago, Mark?
Oh, actually, just right outside Chicago, a couple blocks away, Cicero.
Cicero. Well, I was born in Waukegan, right?
Yeah.
So
first time calling.
There you go. I went to, well, actually, I did a little stint at Mundelein High School. You know where Mundelein is?
Oh, yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah, I went there for a couple of months. But, yeah, man, North Chicago, Fort Sheridan, Great Lakes Naval Station, and there you go. I think my first elementary school, kindergarten, was St. Teresa in North Chicago, and it was so long ago.
Oh, wow.
I don't even know if I have the name right, but but there you go. So all right, Gino's Pizza. That's all I got to say. Do you go to Gino's?
Not too much. Not too much. Yeah, usually, we grew up in Bridgeport.
Right.
So, Connie's Pizza.
Right.
Home Run Inn.
Right.
Falco's.
What about Giordano's in downtown?
Yeah, Giordano's is good, but you know what? I like Uno.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for some reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the sauce.
Man, that's kind of blasphemous, man. You might have to move out of Cicero after this phone call. So there you go.
There's a lot of local places in Cicero that are really good.
You know what? Pizza. You're absolutely right about that. You go to Chicago, and it doesn't matter. South Chicago, Chicago Heights, North Chicago, Cicero. Go to Schaumburg, man. I don't care, right? Mundelein, Libertyville. There are local pizza, family-owned pizza spots on every corner, and you are not going to screw up. It's a guaranteed fact. All right, Mark, we're going to be headed. We're gonna head towards a break here. What have you got for us tonight?
Weird story. I was, my daughter was younger. She's 11 now. She was 5 at the time. We were living in an apartment in Berwyn. Weird stuff was going on, seeing a lot of shadows throughout the apartment for about a week. We had a dog, and the dog would go from room to room in the night, like around 12 o'clock
right
a.m., and he would growl, like if he was doing rounds in every room. Weird thing was, one night, she woke up. I don't want to sleep in my room. I don't want to sleep in my room. So, okay, well, here, go lay down. She did this for a couple of days. Last day she did it, I went in the room. I said, okay, I'm going to lay down with you. I laid down with her. She was in her bed. I was laying on the floor. Next thing you know, I saw she fell asleep. I tried to get up. Something jumped on my back, pushed me to the floor. So usually, you hear the stories about sleep paralysis and, everything, whatnot, but you also hear stories about shadows that you see moving within the bedrooms, a lot of times before you go to sleep.
Of course.
So I start feeling pressure on my back. I can't talk. I can't move. Tried calling for my wife. Nothing but wheezing coming out. Finally, I start swearing at it. It started seizing up. Next thing you know, I'm on all fours. I get up. I go out of the room. 3 seconds later, she starts crying, gets up, runs out of the room, comes into my bedroom. And it's like, come on, get into bed. We're laying down. Probably about 10 minutes go by. We're half awake, half asleep. I hear laughing. I look over to her. She's laying in the middle of the bed. She's reaching over to me to the side of the bed. I go, what the hell's going on? I look over. There's a little boy standing on the side of the bed.
Oh, no way.
Wearing a yellow tank top.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
And we had a night light at the edge of the bed, so it was shining towards us. There should have been a shadow on the wall, something. There was nothing. It was full body. You couldn't see through him. And it looked like he might have been from the 70s because he just had a yellow tank top on, a pair of green shorts, that kind of 70s bowl haircut. He looked like he was about 6 years old.
Wow. Hey, Mark, did he ever come back, or was this the only time?
That was the only time, and
wow.
I yelled at him because I freaked out because my family, we have a lot of that. A lot of spirits, visitations. I do a lot of astral projection.
Right.
And we grew up with it, but I've never seen it full force.
Man,
where it actually was right there.
What an experience, my friend! What an experience! And thank you for.
And I thought it was just me, but I had asked her actually a couple months ago. I said, "Do you remember that day?" She goes, "Yeah." She goes, "But it wasn't a little boy when it was in my room."
Oh, Mark. All right. Hey, listen, we're going to head towards a break right here. Don't forget, I've got your information right here. Write Rita at jimmychurchradio.com, and we will get a really cool book in the mail to you.
Thank you, Jimmy. I love the show, man.
And love you right back.
You're awesome.
Yeah, love you right back, Mark. Thank you for the phone call. Great story. This is Fade to Black. Thank you, Mark. It's Fade to Black, Fadernight. Open lines all night long, 323-825-5045. Everybody tonight with a good, cool story gets a book. I'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Oh, fall. My favorite time of year. Cooler temperatures and, well, let's be honest, layers. Lots and lots of layers. Look, I get it. We all have that favorite hoodie. Matter of fact, I've got a few favorite hoodies. You should wear yours. Enjoy it. I do. But I stay focused on my health year-round. And for me, I take Nature's Youth RSF from nature'syouth.com. Nature's Youth RSF from nature'syouth.com. I eat right, control my portion sizes, still maintain a commitment to regular fitness, and I get plenty of rest, and I take Nature's Youth RSF. It's okay to cover up your beach body for a few months, but don't just forget about it. Nature's Youth understands exactly what it means to provide top-quality health products, and Nature's Youth customers not only improve their health, they know they're also providing their body with the right nourishment to maintain peak performance levels and fight the aging process. So layer up and get started today with Nature's Youth RSF. naturesyouth.com. Simple to use, even simpler to order. Go to naturesyouth.com. That's naturesyouth.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Hashtag F2BQ is Fade to Black questions. Everything is done in real time right here. It's open lines all night long. It is Fadernight, 323-825-5045 in celebration of our 600th show tonight. Everybody's going to get a free book. Just make it a good UFO sighting, story, abductions, experiences, paranormal, ghost, or a good question, or first-time caller, all of that I'm giving away. I've got to clear out. I got to make sure I can walk through the bunker. So hopefully after tonight's show, I'll have a pathway back here to the chair. Are we under an asteroid attack right now? Well, it would kind of seem that way because for the fourth time since the start of 2017, a small celestial body passed Earth. Today, between the Earth and the moon. Today, recently discovered asteroid 2017 BS32, that's right, BS32, zipped right past us at midday today. At that point, it was only 100,000 miles, 60% closer to us than the moon. This latest narrow shave comes just a few days after the closest such flyby in months, and it's prompting observers and some astronomers right now to wonder if this apparent blitz of tiny planetoids could be more than mere coincidence. What is going on? According to astronomer Paul Cox at the SLU Observatory, the apparent burst of small, close-approaching asteroids were first spotted just before buzzing us initially, and it sparked all of this discussion back in late 2016. This is the trippy part. They thought that it might have been just one asteroid that had somehow separated, and that's what is, but it turns out they're all in different orbits. So we don't know what's going on. It's pretty trippy, and this one was pretty close. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, you're live right now.
Hey, you want a good UFO story?
I always want a good UFO story. Who's calling?
Okay, this is Michael from Soaring Hill. I'm a first-time caller, too.
Right on, Michael.
Your readers might enjoy this, your listeners, but I don't. Back in 2001, 10:30 in the evening, I went out to start the barbecue. I'm adjacent to a large field behind me, and I turned around, looked out in the field, and I thought there was a blimp crashing in my field. And I thought, no, that can't be crashing because it's all lit up. Somebody's gone to bother to put all these light alls pointing at it. And then I realized there's nobody out in that field. And this thing's only like 100 feet away.
Right.
Maybe 150 feet up in the air, and the size of the blimp. And I watched this thing cruise to the middle of the field for about 10 minutes, and it just disappeared. Well, I was doing the deer stance while this was happening, and when it disappeared, I walked to the edge of the fence to see where the hell did this thing go.
Right.
Well, after a few minutes, I gave up looking, turned around to walk back to the house. It's now on top of the neighbor's house, and the other neighbor's house, and the neighbor's house across the road. And the funny thing about it is, it was so bright that I should have been able to see my shadow. And yet, when I had my back to it, I saw nothing. Not a thing.
Wow.
So it was a different type of light.
Right, right.
So I went into the house, started to go into shock, and I picked up the cordless phone, and I'm pacing. I'm going, okay, I got to call somebody. And I'm thinking, okay, call the cops. What do I tell them?
Right.
What do you tell them?
I don't know.
I didn't know.
Yeah, what did you tell them?
I have no idea. Then I was thinking, okay, call somebody else. Call the government. Call the church. Call somebody.
Right.
The other church.
Yeah, the other church. Right.
My local pastor. But after about 5 minutes of pacing and not pushing any numbers, I heard the roar of jets. It was either one jet or two jets. One that either circled or two that just did the flyby because the decibels just went up. And I hung up the phone. I said, thank God I don't have to call anybody because I didn't know what to tell them.
Right, but they knew that they were there. They were coming to the rescue. So what happened? Did you go outside? Did you see the jets intercepting this thing?
No, I was inside at that time, but I felt them.
Right.
You know when a jet passes over.
Oh,
it's
you
not a
do.
plane.
Oh, you do.
They don't have mufflers.
And it's not a coincidence that they're buzzing your house as this is going down, for sure.
Yeah, they missed it by about 10 minutes because I watched this thing do the zoom off thing that everybody talks about, where it goes from 0 to whatever miles per hour.
Right.
I mentally counted 1.5 seconds. This thing that was the size of a blimp, and you know how big a blimp is.
Right.
Was the size of a star in 1.5 seconds, and then gone.
Did you talk to your neighbors about it? Did anybody else happen to see it?
I did. I talked to the next door neighbor. He said, no, I didn't see it. But you know what he said to me? He goes, I've seen one up north.
Right.
And my jaw dropped, and I just walked away. And I had to come back to him later and say, I'm sorry for walking away. It's just, this thing is just, it's freaking me out,
Yeah, yeah. And
it took me a couple of years to even talk about it.
Now, what city, what part of the world did this happen in?
Well, Thornhill is just on the border of Toronto, Canada.
Right. Okay. Close to the lake?
Well, I'm 30-minute drive to get to the lake.
Okay, I got you. Wow, that's a pretty incredible sighting. Was there anything in the news the next day? Did anybody else see it?
No, not a thing.
Yeah, it's weird.
And I asked around to neighbors and that,
right?
Because I asked one neighbor, then I asked the other neighbor who just kind of thought I was crazy and that, but you had to ask, right?
Right.
And I was going how come nobody's seen it? What are the jets doing here? Somebody must have called.
Right.
Or they got it on radar.
Right.
But I'm thinking, okay, if they didn't see it, it's because when I was standing with my back behind it, and there was, imagine the biggest light bulb in the world. You're going to see the whole area light up, right?
Right, right.
It wasn't doing that. The light was there, but it wasn't lighting up the surrounding area. And I'm thinking, okay, it could be right out your window, and unless you're looking at your window, you wouldn't know.
Incredible, Michael. Listen, write Rita at jimmychurchradio.com. I've got your information right here. Write Rita, give us your address, and we'll pop a book in the mail to you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Absolutely incredible.
Okay, Jimmy, take care.
Yeah, have a great night. Thank you so much for that, Michael. Toronto, what is going on in Canada? Canada has got their share of incredible sightings. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, this is Lynn, Jimmy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
How
are you doing? And by the way, congratulations for the 600th show.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn. Yeah, we made it somehow. And no big celebrations, nothing, not having everybody call in and stuff. I just thought I'd save everything for Fadernight. And,
sure. Lord.
We'll do the fireworks and the big party when we get to 1,000. But in the meantime, we just thought that we would give back to all of you tonight and get everybody a book and just kick back and enjoy the phone calls tonight. So that's what we're doing. How are you?
I'm great. Hey, I want to ask you a question, Jimmy. Do you know, or have you ever heard of Virgil Armstrong?
Virgil Armstrong. No. Who's Virgil Armstrong?
Well, he was in the military. I don't remember exactly if he was, some higher up or what, but they called him Posty.
Okay.
And he had a gift, I guess, psychic type of gift. He did remote viewing and stuff for the military. Anyway, I have 2 tapes of his, and he talks. This was like, let's see, I got the tapes in the 80s, and I'm thinking the early 80s, and I just ran across them the other day, and they're about the stuff that was built on the backside of the moon.
Did he have, I'm trying to remember, did he have a beard?
Yeah, he did.
I remember Virgil now. Okay, all right, I remember.
And I'm just wondering if he's still alive or not, and if you'd like those tapes, I'd be happy to send them to you.
Well, who's got a VHS player anymore, right?
They're not video. They're audio.
Oh, who's got a cassette player anymore, Lynn?
I don't know, but I just thought if you'd like them, I'd mail them.
I would love them,
anyway,
but okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to tell you, I've had many experiences with strange highness, and we talked about it on the 29th of December this last year.
Right.
But there is one that happened, and remember, I think if you remember right, I spoke of Colonel Stevens, Wendell Stevens.
Yep. I remember.
Okay. And it was the incident that we had was up on Lake Powell.
Right.
And we had missing time. Our watches had been in sync. My husband and I had a boat trip up there.
Okay.
Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
I don't remember if I told you any of the specifics about it.
No, you didn't.
Anyway, that's how like I said, my husband and I went to see Wendell Stevens, and we had this brunch thing that we spent about 4 or 5 hours with. But this thing, in the beginning, in the evening, like at 8:30 or so, we had we were off on the shore type. Lake Powell was flooded. It had been flooded. It took them 17 years. Glen Canyon, right?
Okay.
Do you remember that?
I do.
Okay. So we had a little spot, and it was like our last night. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but every night at 12:30, I was waking up terrified, feeling just terrified. And on the last night of our stay, I think it was like 3 nights, I saw this UFO up over the mountain area, and that's all in Indian land.
Right.
On reservations up there.
Right.
Okay. So anyway, that being said, I was awakened. Same time. It was every time. It was like 12:30, but this time it looked like it was 5 o'clock in the morning, and we were supposed to be leaving to get the boat back at 4. By 4, and I thought we were late. But anyway, I was off in the back where the back of the boat was in the water. And I saw this thing raise up out of the water. It was like a platform. And it was like, I'm thinking, am I really seeing this? Is my eyes playing tricks? It was kind of a full moon, but it was like it would go in and out of the clouds. Anyway, because of that and missing time and our watches being out of sync, we decided, or I did, I wanted to go see Wendell Stevens, to explain what had happened. And he was living in Tucson at that time. We were living in Phoenix. And we drove down there, and he had this book. We bought two books. The one was called Zeta Reticuli Experience or something like that. Anyway, in this book, he wrote about this Dutchman and his family were out in The Hague having a vacation. He was a doctor. And it showed illustrations of, something was going on in the water or whatever. And this thing came up, and the doctor saw this. It was like a platform. And there were these beings, I guess it was called Iarga, a planet called Iarga. Have you heard that?
No, I haven't, but go ahead. This is fascinating.
He had several stories in there. One that was included was the one up in Holbrook with I can't remember what his name was, but they took him for 4 or 5 days. But anyway, this story tells about how this doctor went aboard this platform thing that I saw in Lake Powell.
Lake Powell.
Risen up.
Now, Lake Powell, which is up on the Arizona-Utah border, right? That Lake Powell?
Correct.
Right.
Right.
And it's pretty
some
big.
Parts it's deep.
Right.
500-600 feet deep. Maybe some places it's deeper.
Right.
But see, during the time that we were there, I like to fish. My husband liked to fish. Anyway, well, he did, Anyway, we were fishing, and this great big huge school of fish came flying up out. It must have been 40, 50 feet and hitting the wall, in this area of the mountains. There was still part mountains sticking out. Have you ever been there?
No, I haven't. But Lynn, I want to get back to this platform. What did the platform do?
I saw it raise out of the water.
Like,
and it was, I'm guessing this, and it was like edged on. Now, can I explain it? It was about 8 or 9 foot across.
Okay.
And it had edges that went down in on an angle.
And
it was weird looking.
And did it float above the water? Is that what you're?
It just part of it. I just saw it raise out of the water. I'm guessing about 2 feet, 3 feet.
That's crazy. What do you think?
I know it was weird. I mean, It was just really, really strange.
What did your husband say? Did he see it?
No, he was up in the front of the boat trying to get, like our fishing gear and stuff. The houseboat, it was like a houseboat. And we had stuff, and he kept saying, I said, come here, look at this. And every time, he said, I'm busy, we got to get going because we're late. We really weren't late. The time was, it looked like it was 5 o'clock on our watches, but it was really 12:30.
Oh man, Lynn, what do you?
If you realize, if you kind of look at the clock and see. Anyway, it was really weird, and every time we tried to get something on the radio,
right,
it was like skip, and then. We'd be listening to this station, and then all of a sudden when it came time for us to find what time it was at the hour, it would go crazy. We couldn't hear it. It would go out, the radio waves. It was crazy. Anyway, that's why we went down to see Wendell Stevens. And we spent that time, and then when I got that book, when I read that story in his book,
right.
It was like amazing because of the platform thing.
Yeah,
that
totally.
came up out of the water.
Hey, Lynn, do you have a way to send me email?
Yeah, I do. I think I sent you one tonight.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you did. That's right. Okay, so send me an email or send one to Rita with your address so we can send you a really cool book in the mail. Will you do that for me?
Okay. I'd love to.
Thank you so much, Lynn. And thank you for sharing that with us. That's pretty incredible. Incredible.
I've had a lot of experience, like I said, all my life since I was about 12, 13 years old.
Well, just call back again and share another one with us, Lynn. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks,
you, Jimmy. I love your show.
We love you right back, Lynn. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. What a great story. Thank you so much for that, Lynn. She lives in Ajo, in the middle of the desert. And Lake Powell, which is up on the Arizona-Utah border, which I've been to, is a pretty big lake. I mean, my memory says that you can see across it, but it's pretty big. It's pretty substantial. I haven't been there in a long time, but it's big enough for something like this, could be lurking. It's like Loch Ness big. What an interesting sighting that was. And she got to hang out with Wendell Stevens. How cool is that? Thank you so much, Lynn, for that phone call. Now, I got to share this with you before I get back to the phones. That's right, Fade to Black Blend. Online community Reddit has banned the alt-right subreddit r/r/alt-right. Yeah. Can you believe it? Reddit? The ban came down yesterday, and it's citing violation of Reddit's content policy, which I didn't think it was possible to. I didn't know that Reddit had violations, but nonetheless, with this, a similar subreddit, which is /alt-right, alternative right, was also banned, and for that one, there was no specific reason given. Reddit's content policy specifically prohibits any content that encourages or incites violence, or threatens or harasses or bullies or encourages others to do so. However, it was neither of these points that led to the r/alt-right's ban. According to the redirected page, the community was banned for the proliferation of personal and confidential information. Apparently, they were doxing. Reddit, commenting on the ban, and I'm quoting here, said that it was very clear in our site terms of service that posting of personal information can get users banned from Reddit, and we ask our communities not to post content that harasses or invites harassment. We have banned our alt-right due to the repeated violations of the terms of our content policy. And then I found out that Reddit has previously banned other communities for hate speech and illegal content or exposing personal information. I did not know that. So there you go. Alt-right banned from Reddit. Wow. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy. This is Dan. Well, you know me as Dandy.
Hi, Dandy. How are you, man?
Good. Hey, excuse me. I wanted to talk about chrome balls.
Okay, go ahead.
We've been talking about them for a while. Well, there's so many of us that have seen them. What if the movie Sphere was based on fact?
Yes, I know. Yeah, totally right. I'm totally with you on that. I'm totally with you. Have you seen a chrome ball?
I have seen one chrome ball that was about 3 a.m. I was driving down the road. There was a lightning storm going on the mountains that were probably 6-7 miles away from me. It was over the top of the mountains. And when the lightning would flash, then the lightning would flash off that chrome ball.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And
how far away was it?
Well, the mountains were about 5 or 6 miles, maybe, and it was over the top of the mountains, and from my point of view, it was bigger than a quarter.
So kind of like what, well, yours sounds like it was a little bit bigger than... it
was pretty big.
Yeah. I mean, ours was pretty big.
Maybe 70 feet around, maybe.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. Was it chrome? Like chrome?
It looked like fluid chrome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Way chrome.
Was it moving?
It was just hanging there.
Wow, that is pretty incredible. How long did it hang?
Yeah. I don't know. I got the hell out of there.
Yeah. You know,
I was the only one around.
You know what's funny?
It wasn't a good day to be abducted.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't know if there ever is a good day for that, but
yeah,
you know what's funny? The more that I stop and think about it, I'm so thankful that I've had people around me, other witnesses and Fadernauts and so forth, and Rita, of course, has always been there for all of these sightings. And I started to think, these three sightings are very similar. I had my triangle sighting, and there's that, and then I had that satellite thing that was over the Honda dealership, and that was totally singular because that was metallic, but it was also faceted. It was like best way I can explain it is like a disco ball, kind of thing. But the sighting that we had out in Joshua Tree 3-4 years ago out at the cabin that Rita and I had rented, which was 20 miles from the Contact in the Desert event itself. That, which all of the Fadernauts were there for, Space Boy was there, Rick Sinnott was there, Steve Marilla was there, Alex Mastretta was there, Walter was there, I want to think Space Boy's wife was there, and quite a few others too. We had, it was probably 15 people. That was a chrome ball too as well. It was a sphere that took off from the middle of the desert and shot straight up and disappeared into the stars. And I had forgotten about that, right? There's a sphere. There's another example of it. And then Rita and I had our, sighting when we were on the, in the mountains coming down into the valley. And that was 2008 or 2009, coming down into the valley. And that sphere that shot, this one was the opposite. It came from the stars and then shot down, and I thought it landed in downtown Van Nuys and was going to explode. But that was also a sphere, and I've always described it as that. It was just a round ball of light, without any shape to it. So there's something going on there, Dandy. I don't know what it is.
I saw a black one once. I'm in Idaho, so we see everything. I saw one, a black one that just kind of shot across the sky at high speed, just lower than the stratosphere clouds.
Wow.
And,
wow, that's interesting. So it was a black sphere.
That one was black.
Wow. What year? Do you remember?
The black one was first maybe 96, 97, somewhere in there.
Right.
And the chrome one was maybe 3 years ago.
Same parts of the country?
Yeah, I live near the Oregon-Idaho border, so yeah.
Oregon-Idaho border. What? Man, you got all the strange stuff there.
Yeah, there's lots of strange stuff.
You got it all.
I was going through a list of the things that I've seen here, and I first saw a derby hat that was, I was like in junior high school, and it was 100 yards away. Then I saw a silver disc. I've seen a cigar-shaped one. I've seen black balls. I've seen boomerang-shaped, something an airplane, something, I don't know.
Right.
Shadow people, ghost cars are the latest thing.
Well, you'll have to call back. We're up against a break here, Dandy. Hey, listen, write Rita at jimmychurchradio.com, okay? Send us your address, and we'll pop something in the mail to you, man. Thank you so much.
I will give it to somebody else. I'm fine.
Okay. All right, Dandy, behave.
Good job. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Great phone call. This is Fade to Black. It is Fadernight. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. In celebration of our 600th show, everybody tonight gets a book. Somebody's going to get Dandy's now. 323-825-5045. I'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on jimmychurchradio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
You've probably heard about all the great benefits of goat milk soap, but did you know some companies take shortcuts? At Old New England Soap, we make our organic goat's milk soap using 36% goat's milk. That's 17% more than most others. Our bars are larger, so they last longer, producing lots of lather packed with vitamins. And our soap is a natural moisturizer that smooths dry and damaged skin. Order online at oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. You've tried the rest. Now try the best. oldnesoap.com.
Water-based soaps on supermarket shelves use harsh chemical acids to break down dead skin cells. And that's just not good for you. At Old New England Soap, our soaps are made without chemical ingredients, contain no alcohol or petroleum products, and use 85% organic materials and carry the USDA's organic certification. Try some today. Go to oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. oldnesoap.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If you have sciatica, then you know all about the crippling pain that travels from your lower back down your leg when a spasm occurs. It's brutal. In fact, it's enough to take your breath away. Dr. Zhang's Sciatica Nerve Cream helps relieve persistent, shooting pains associated with the sciatic nerve in the lower back and legs. This natural, homeopathic cream contains the most potent ingredients to soothe even the most excruciating pain associated with sciatica. Stop the pain now. Ask for Dr. Zhang's Sciatica Nerve Cream at your local health food store or go online to trasknutrition.com.
Would you like relief from muscle pain, headaches, and discomfort to sleep better, have more energy during the day, and just feel naturally amazing? Fibromalic can help. Its blend of malic acid and magnesium can provide pain relief and comfort for those who experience fibromyalgia. It helps your body absorb more oxygen, and it works quickly for a significant reduction in pain within 48 hours, all without a prescription. Ask for Fibromalic at health and vitamin shops or shop fibromalic.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. If you're on hold, stay right there. I will get everybody in, I promise. Tonight's Fadernight, 323-825-5045. So, in celebration of our 600th show, we kept this on the down low this week, but we saved it for Fadernight tonight, okay? So, our gift to you, everybody tonight, cool call, cool story, UFO sighting, abduction experience, paranormal, ghost, bring it. Bring your best. You're going to get a free book. First-time callers, going to get a free book. It's that simple. And it will help me get through the bunker. So help me get rid of all of these books. And they're all good, too. If I've got a book here in the bunker, it's because it kicks ass. So always think about that. All right, now check this out really quick. Detective work involving honeybees outfitted with ultra-small microchips reveals that a virus once thought to be relatively benign is causing honeybees to live fast and die young. The pathogen, a covert form of a deformed wing virus that is described in the journal Proceedings of the Royal Society B, may be exerting a form of mind control over worker honeybees.
The researchers found that adult worker honeybees with deformed wing virus often show no outward physical symptoms of the illness, which causes crippled wings, and the victims are infected in the larval stage. Still, the infected adult workers show bizarre behavior. They start foraging at much earlier ages, reduce their activity levels earlier than other adult workers, and then die younger than honeybees without the virus. Now, aside from the possible mind control abilities of the virus, the initial fast living of the sick honeybees could be because the pollinators detect that they are ill and react by leaving the hive early in order to avoid infecting their nestmates. How trippy is that? We've got a serious bee problem on this planet, and we've got to get it fixed. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Jimmy. This is Ken from Irvine.
Hey, man, speak into the phone, my brother.
Okay, how's that? Any better?
Okay, there we go. What's up, Ken?
Okay, there we go. I have two different sighting stories for you. I wanted to give you the choice. The first is Keith Richards at the Whiskey, and the second is Sasquatch back in the late 80s.
Oh, Keith Richards at the Whiskey. We've all had one of those. Okay, so let's go with the other one.
Okay. No, Keith Richards? Okay, we'll go with the Sasquatch then.
Yes.
All right, so
I was just Ken. I was just
Yep.
kidding. I was just kidding. I'm always up for a good Sasquatch story.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go with the Sasquatch, Jimmy. All right, so Sasquatch, it was mid-'70s or so. I'm just out in the woods in New England, and I found the tallest rock I could find. And I'm sitting on top of this rock playing my guitar and singing. I was a big fan of Motown and the falsetto voice. So I'm singing, I'm loving life all by myself. And I catch this psychic thing that says, okay, would you rather see a dwarf or a pixie or a leprechaun? And I said, no leprechauns. And then, no shit, Jimmy, this Sasquatch comes walking up the corner, and all telepathy said, I heard you singing, and I just wanted to come and see what was the singing. And it just was stunning, absolutely stunning. I mean, what am I, 17? And so that was my Sasquatch story.
Were you? That's pretty cool. Were you scared?
And that's the thing about it. That's what he said. Don't be frightened, and you have your choice. Would you rather see a leprechaun or a fairy or a pixie or what? And I didn't expect to be, because 17 and invincible. I wasn't going to be afraid. But as soon as I saw him, it was just this deep. Oh wow. Yeah, it was pretty frightening.
What part of the country? Where was this at?
It was Providence, Rhode Island.
Did you tell your friends?
It's not the kind of thing you want to tell people, and I'm telling you, Jimmy, only because it's you. And 600 show, God bless, congratulations for that. But no, I told my wife, I told a couple of people, but you tell people you see a Sasquatch and he's communicating with you, they kind of move away from you there on the bench. So,
interesting how it was telepathic, and we've heard this before, but for you, it was I don't want to say this in a strange way, but it was in English, right? You understood, or English, but what I mean is you understood everything that he was saying.
Understood the communication perfectly. Absolutely. Yeah, one of the things I was lucky about is I had an older sister who was a hippie, and so she was into all of the candles and the meditation and the astral projection way back in the 70s. So, I had some inclination about, telepathy anyway. So that part of it didn't surprise me. What really surprised me was how large he was, and that he was communicating with me and saying, what are you more afraid of, or what do you like best? And that was the most curious part of it all.
Yeah, and Ken, thank you for the phone call. You know what's funny? I think I would have done the same thing. No leprechauns. So there you go.
Yeah, no leprechauns.
Yeah, it was a good choice. Hey, write Rita. I've got your information right here. Okay, so write Rita, send us your address, and we'll put a really cool book in the mail to you.
Okay, and here's to another 600, Jimmy. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. Great phone call. Sasquatch sighting when he's reading or when he's playing guitar on top of a rock. and Sasquatch just wanted to check it out. That's a great experience. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hello.
You're live.
This is Gabriel.
Hey, what are you doing, man?
Hey, Jimmy. I'm doing all right.
How are you?
I'm doing excellent, man. Been making lots of organite lately, so
yeah,
keeping busy.
Yeah. I see your post. You're getting more and more creative every day.
Yeah, I keep letting it go. So I've been I don't know. They kind of make themselves, so to speak, I guess.
That's how it should go. Are you coming out to Contact in the Desert?
We are trying real hard to make it out there, but I'm pretty sure I'm kind of law of attraction in it. I'm just saying I'm going to be out there.
Oh, that's all you got to do is vibe it, man. That's all you got to do.
That's right, man.
That's all you got to do. Things work out. Okay, so we'll see you at Contact. So what's going on tonight, Gabriel? I know you've got a cool story.
Well, I got the one that I've only shared a couple times throughout my life because it's kind of the weird one. And the reason I want to share it is because the other night, Mark kind of bringing up how, a lot of people that have the weirder stories or the ones that, people quote unquote call the anal probe stories. And it's like, that's the reason why I haven't told one of my stories, because the way I have to tell it, it always comes out in a way where if you're not an open-minded person and you understand where I'm coming from, then you're going to go to this, chastising, mocking, blah, blah, blah. And, they have all these condescending assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
So I was living at my dad's house, and I was probably about 25, and I had just, I had lived with my brother for a while after I moved out with my mom, and we were working together and everything, and we had stopped. I had not been able to live with him anymore, so I moved in with my dad for a little while. And so I was living in the basement, and it had a simple room. There wasn't much in there. And laying there one night, and I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, but I had smoked at the time. So, laying in bed, and it's a completely pitch black room, no lights in there because it's basement and there's no windows there's a window, but it's like, the well window where light doesn't really come in well. So it's pretty dark. So all you have is kind of every time you drag the cigarette, you can see the light.
Right.
So I smoked my last cigarette. I put it out, and, I do kind of, my little silent meditation that I do, which helps me go to sleep because I have one of those minds that doesn't want to shut off. So I have to kind of do a countdown, 1, 2, 3 to get me to go to sleep, and go to sleep as normal. And all of a sudden, as I'm kind of feel like I'm drifting away, like I'm going to go into a dream, I feel like I'm lifting, like I'm floating. And I think, oh, I'm just astral traveling. So, that's cool, unexpected astral travel. So I'll go with it. But then I feel myself still in my body. I notice that I'm not leaving my body like a normal astral travel, like I'm not actually going up and out like I usually would. And then I'll usually look back and see my body laying down as I go away into space or into the clouds or whatever you have you. And I feel this inertia, like a weird inertia, which feels like my feet are coming in what would be into the bed, and my head is now rotating up. And I feel pretty much what you would feel like if you were like, in one of those inversion tables, and you're being, lifted up from your back onto your stomach.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of, it's a weird sensation, but I'm still kind of like feeling it's that mode where you're like, I must be in a dream. So I'm just kind of, right now I don't know what's going on. So I'm just kind of go with it. And as soon as I got to what felt like my back, because I felt the pressure of the bed on my chest. So I feel.
Gabriel, were you awake?
Go ahead.
Were you awake?
That I at that point, once I felt the pressure of the chest of the bed on my chest,
right.
That's when I felt like I was awake.
So you were rotated.
It wasn't a dream.
Right. You were rotated. Okay, I got you. Okay, continue.
So, and right when I felt myself hit the bed, is when I felt like kind of a pressure on my shoulders, my back, and my lower hips. And then at that moment, I felt the most intense, extreme heat and pain shoot up what I would consider my spine area, because, just to be frank, I know the difference between, my special parts being touched and my spine area being like
right,
what I would only consider being poked with something, like jabbed with something really hard.
Right.
And I remember that sensation feeling like it lasted forever. And it felt like it kept going on. And the only thing I really remember after that point was my dad, who slept in the same, in the basement area, but, in another room in the basement. And I went to bed. We usually went to bed about 1 o'clock. It was pretty normal for us. About 1 o'clock is when we wound down from a pot of coffee, and, we'd go to bed about 1 o'clock.
Right.
So my dad comes into my room at about 3 o'clock, and he's screaming at me, Gabe, Gabe, Gabe. And as I come to, I realize that I have my hands out in a grasping motion, and I'm on my knees at the edge of my bed, and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs with both my hands out towards him or towards the door.
Right.
And I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs, and he's trying to get me to stop. He's like, Gabe, 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 I'm here, Gabe, Gabe. And he's grabbing my hands, and I'm just screaming. And I finally realize what's going on. And I'm like, what's going on? What are you doing to me? And he's like, dude, you're screaming. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you got your hands out, you're on the edge of your bed, like hanging out into nowhere, and you're like screaming. And I'm just like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. And I'm panting, I'm hyperventilating, I'm drenched in sweat, and I'm just like, oh my God. My dad's like, here, have a cigarette. And I light up a cigarette, and I'm just like, what the hell happened to me? And that one has always been like, it gives me anxiety to talk about it.
Sure it does. Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you a couple of questions here, Gabriel. Did your dad hear anything going on? Did he see anything?
No, he's kind of one of those, like, I call him like a narcoleptic kind of guy. Like, he's a heavy pot smoker, so he falls asleep pretty easily, but he does, because he was in prison in Mexico for 5 years, he only sleeps for, spits at a time, like maybe 2-3 hours at a time.
Right.
So he would have probably woken up and been awake, at around that time, just because that's his normal kind of wake up and fidget around and then smoke a cigarette and go back to bed.
Right.
But he didn't say that he heard anything, and he doesn't remember anything going on. The only thing he really remembers is what he says to me, is that he remembers going to sleep, and then all of a sudden I'm screaming, and he's running in to help me.
Right.
And we both kind of have no necessarily memory of anything loud happening, but we're in a basement, so it's like, and I'm in a back room where there's only one entrance.
Right.
And my dad's the only one down there. So
how are you doing, today with this kind of memory, and especially when you hear somebody like Whitley or other experiencers who come on the show and talk about similar experiences? How are you dealing with it today?
Like my general emotion, like yesterday, I kind of loosely posted how I'm all emotional, but what happens when I hear like similar stories like that and similar things like that is like, just context is like, I'm a hot person. Like, I'm always hot. My feet are always hot. My wife can't really sleep next to me. We sleep with separate things because I'm so hot. She can't sleep next to me. And like right now and yesterday when he talked about it, like, I'm dead cold, Jimmy. Like, my feet are cold. My hands are cold. My body's cold.
Right.
I'm shivering. I'm like, I feel uneasy. And, it's thinking about that. And I can't rationally give you any memory other than what I can explain. But it's something inside me. My body tells me it's right in my gut center. It's right in that instinctual part that tingles when you know something's wrong.
Right.
And I know something happened. Something's not right, and I don't know what, but.
Wow. Well, Gabriel, this is the thing. And thank you for sharing that with me. I know you pretty well. You're your feet are on the ground, your head is in the right place, and you've got a lot of talent. And you've really blossomed into a really cool dude. So, but there are people that walk around with these kind of experiences, just like you're referring to, that don't talk about it. And that's not the right way to go. Don't keep it bottled up. Call me, talk to me, if you don't talk to me about it, talk to somebody else. But, just keeping it inside of you, doesn't do you any good. You talking to me right now, you're going to hang up the phone. You're going to go, damn, I feel good. Man, I feel good.
I'm already doing those like sighs of relief,
That's right.
And thinking about all the people that I've known that, well, not that I've known over my life, but since I've started listening to Just to Fade to Black, it's been like I felt so open and I felt so okay to bring these things up and not feel like I'm just a weirdo, and like somebody's going to say, dude, you should take medication. And it's like, no, these things happen. This is real. I'm not going to fight you over it, and I'm not going to sit here and contest you or talk about where the burden of proof lies.
Mm-hmm.
But look, dude, that's it. And I feel this way. And if you do, then you can come here and you can be open and you can release this stuff. Because like you said, it's cathartic as hell to get this shit out.
Yeah, it is
amazing.
And that's the other thing, though, too, which you're touching upon, is the Fadernight family is friggin' incredible. And you are able to come out and hang out with all of us, and that's it. That's the beauty of this show and the community and the family that we have built. So with that, thank you, Gabriel. And instead of me sending you something, when you come out to Contact in the Desert, I'll have something really cool for you, my brother.
Awesome. I appreciate it. I'll see you out there, brother. I can't wait.
I can't wait. Gabriel, you're the best, man. Never change.
I'm trying not to.
Thank you, Gabriel. Be safe out there, my brother.
All right, Jimmy. Love you and happy 600.
Yeah, thank you. Loving you right back. Thank you so much, Gabriel. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, how's it going?
It's going good. Who's calling?
This is Steve G to the Fadernight.
Oh, Steve G. The man, the myth, the legend. How are you, Steve?
Good, man. You're building me up.
All right. What's on your mind tonight, Steve? You got some heavy competition tonight, so I know you're going to bring it.
Not so much. I'll keep it short and simple. I've always wanted to get it off my chest, so kind of like Gabe, I get a little anxious, so don't mind that, okay? So I was 14, hanging out with my bud. We used to chill, and this is a supernatural, not a UFO. So we're in the living room, my house, and we just finished watching a movie. I'm in an apartment, and I have a courtyard outside my window. It's a large rectangular, got a lot of dwellings in there, and all of the apartments have a fence in front of them. It's about 6 feet tall.
Okay.
No, 5 feet maybe. Okay. So I'm sitting there on the couch with my buddy after we finished this movie, and from across the courtyard, a white, bright, like, I guess it's sphere. I guess I'll just say sphere just pops out of nowhere. And me and my buddy look at each other. We're going, what the hell is this thing? And it rises up over the far corner of that rectangular courtyard and slowly moves over the fences. And it's as if it knew we were watching. It came right up to my window and just sat there for a good 30 seconds.
How big was it?
And if you took maybe 3 basketballs, put them together.
Right, 3 feet, 3 feet across. Okay.
Maybe a little smaller than that. But I was shocked. I was stunned. I'd never seen anything like it. And me and my buddy, our jaws were dropped. And so this thing just kind of disappeared. And we looked at each other, and we didn't know what to think. We were both silent for a good minute and a half. So we go on about our night, don't think nothing of it. And, well, of course we think much of it, actually. But, we just try to carry on the night. And,
Right.
Right. I'm sorry if I'm a little anxious here. So
that's all right.
Come to find, the old lady that lived all the way across that courtyard had passed away. So
that night,
I'm thinking it was right.
Whoa! There you go. Wow.
Right. And I'm thinking, whoa, okay. And what clarifies this for me is that before this happened to us, I'd been to a Christmas, and my mom and some of her relatives had shared similar stories of the same type of thing. And I thought, oh, BS,
Right, of
That's
course.
never going to happen to me. I'll never see something like that.
That's right.
Well, lo and behold.
Incredible. Now, and thank you for the phone call, Steve. And don't forget, you got to write Rita. I've got your info right here. Write Rita and send us your address so I can put a book in the mail to you. Okay, I'll make sure it's really cool. But and before I let you go, we're going to head to a break. So one last quick question. Had you seen her just before she died, 1? And 2, were you guys like friendly? I mean, did you guys like know each other?
You know what? There was 2 older ladies in my life, and she was one of them, and I can't recall if she or the other one was the one that I went inside of their house when they were having trouble.
Right.
Picked her up, carried her out in safety for something stupid. I don't know what it was.
That's where I'm going.
She knew where I was.
Right.
She knew exactly where I was.
That's where I'm going. That's exactly where I'm going with this. That's exactly what I was thinking. Very interesting.
You have like 15 seconds more, Jimmy?
15 seconds. Go ahead.
Okay. About 2 months ago, I was at an arcade with my daughter, and I'm standing outside with my wife, and I look up, and just like the videos, everything you see, Foo Fighters, I saw 2 way up high. I'm talking high. No sound, not one sound. Or one right after the other. 2, I guess you can call them Foo Fighters, right, just going right across the sky. And I mean, it could have been some F-16s. Who knows? But the thing is, it was so high up, Jimmy, and I didn't hear a sound. This is after listening to your show for a while and all kinds of stuff. So that's also interesting.
See, you got to love it when it happens, right, Steve?
Yeah. So heritage to you at your sighting, or with your sighting at Contact in the Desert. Happy 600th, by the way.
Thank you so much, Steve, and thank you for sharing that with us. That is a great experience, and I think that's exactly what happened. She just she came by and said goodbye. That's exactly what was happening. Thank you so much, Steve. Write Rita. Send us your address. We'll put something in the mail to you, man.
Thank you. Have a good one, Jimmy.
You too, Steve. Thank you so much. All right, quick break. It's Fadernight, 323-825-5045. In celebration of our 600th, our gift to you, books, and lots of them. 323-825-5045. I'll be right back.
Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever got in my. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code TSL.
Would odors, mold, and mildew describe your basement or crawl space? It doesn't have to be that way. Transform them into a fresh, healthy, usable one with the technologically advanced Wave moisture control units. The computerized operation maximizes moisture control and also expels harmful radon, combustion gases, and numerous other pollutants. Dehumidifiers are old technology that do nothing for air quality and waste energy. Wave units are intelligent, self-monitoring, do not need maintenance, and will save you hundreds in electricity. Wave units are still running effectively over 15 years. They've been tested and installed in public and military housing and by property managers nationwide. Buy a unit now, and if your home is not fresher and drier, you can return it for a full refund for up to 12 months. What have you got to lose? Call now. 1-888-618-WAVE. 1-888-618-WAVE. Or visit mydryhome.com. That's mydryhome.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Thursday night, Fader night, best night of the week, and you know that. Man, I love hanging out with you guys. Great phone calls tonight. 323-825-5045. If you're on hold, stay right there, okay? A piece of an ancient continent. I don't know if you heard this. It is a crazy, crazy discovery. Running the length from India all the way to Madagascar has been discovered under the tiny island of Mauritius off of the east coast of Africa. The lost continent was formed in the breakup of the supercontinent Gondwana, which began pulling apart about 200 million years ago. The small piece of crust was later covered up by lava from volcanic eruptions on the island. And after the breakup of Africa and India, Australia, and Antarctica, which formed the Indian Ocean. The scientists who published the study in the journal Nature Communications said that there are many pieces of the undiscovered continent, which they call Mauritia, right? Mauritia, found around the Indian Ocean from the breakup of Gondwana. Absolutely incredible discovery. I think we have some pictures over on our Facebook page, over Jimmy Church Radio on Facebook.
Go and check it out. All right, back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Is that me?
That's you.
Hey, Jimmy Church, how are you?
I'm doing good. Who's calling? How are you?
I am Steve from Lockport, New York.
All right, Steve, from Rockport?
Lockport,
gotcha.
Yep.
There's
just outside Niagara Falls.
There's probably a Rockport, too, now that I think about it. But
yeah, right.
Okay, gotcha, Steve. Hey, what's up?
Well, I was gonna, when I called, I was gonna tell you I had an encounter with an alien being twice. Once when I was 3 years old, and then once in 2011 in August.
Same being?
What's that?
Was it the same being? Well, you were 3.
I think
don't
so,
know.
yeah. I'm pretty sure it was. When I was 3 years old, it was in my right outside my bedroom, and I walked out, I remember, and I thought it was my mother. My dad told me, leave your mom alone. She's got the flu. Don't bother. Well, he went to work at 11 o'clock at night, and I was going to go sneak out and see what she was doing, and I thought it was her. I thought that's what it meant to have the flu. But this thing I saw, it had orange eyes.
Wow.
It scared the bejesus out of me.
Right.
And I turned around and I ran in bed. Now, I don't remember anything after that. But in 2011, for a couple of years before that, I was having some pretty virtual reality dreams is what I can best describe those at. And on this last one, on a Tuesday morning, it was August 16th, I woke up 5:30 a.m., rolled over on my back. My wife was on my right side, facing the window, and I looked up, and in the ceiling, in this big square, I'm going to describe it as a black vortex that was in my ceiling. Okay, that's the ceiling should have been there. It's about maybe 2 feet by 2 feet, and inside this black vortex was a pair of orange eyes. They didn't blink. They never moved. They were about 1.5 feet from where the ceiling would have been up inside this thing. And it immediately my body locked up. And it lasted 5 minutes. And all I could do was move my eyes. I'm looking around the room. I'm looking back at it. I'm trying to, move my hands, but I can't because I wanted my wife to turn over and see it.
Right.
And I'm not, man, I feel like I lost an opportunity. I didn't. It lasted 5 minutes. I mean, I can describe the square vortex on the very edges where it met the ceiling. It was like rolled over, and on the edges, it wasn't perfectly in a straight line. It was wavy. It almost looked like it had the consistency of Play-Doh rolled over. And, and I'm looking at it, and then at the end, I thought to myself that it was a demon. It was come for me.
Right.
And at that moment, it kind of flashed the outline of its head. And then it slowly went up and away from me, and then the blackness melted away, and the ceiling came back. It just all like in 2 or 3 seconds. It was gone. The vortex was gone. Ceiling back, and then my body unlocked. I jumped out of freaking bed, and I yelled at it. I shook my finger at the ceiling. I said, "Don't ever come back."
Right.
I went to the bathroom, took a piss, and I realized it wasn't a demon. It was an alien.
Why?
I feel like I had an opportunity to talk to them.
Right. Okay, and well, hold on, Steve. Let's back up a couple of steps here. Okay, let's put it in reverse. Let's go back. Why would you think alien instead of demon?
I don't know. I just got the feeling that's what it was because, well, at that time, at that instant moment, I don't know. I can't tell you why. But for 3 days, I felt so calm, almost like it drugged me. Probably did, so I wouldn't have a heart attack and die from the fear.
I'm with you there.
It was pretty wild. And what I want to tell you is it was a more positive experience. And I don't know why they're here. It didn't tell me anything, but I'll tell you what. If I had any implants in me or not, I don't know. But I think it was a positive experience because I felt pretty damn good after that.
The comment about a wasted opportunity. Okay.
Yes,
what
I blew it.
No, not you're calling me, so it's not totally blown. But you're sharing the experience, right? And other people get to hear this.
I couldn't talk about this for 2 years.
Right. What would you have done differently?
Well, if I had known that it could possibly read my mind, I would have tried to communicate with it and said, "Hey, you know what? Why are you here, and what are you doing with me?"
Right.
I mean, in the dreams that I've had over the past 2 years, I'll tell you what, it showed me some pretty scary things. Like it had me in scenarios almost, I think.
What do you mean?
Different kind of scenarios where I'd be walking outside, and then the stars would all start moving, and they'd come together, and then the spaceships whizzing by, and and then the next thing, there's things coming after me, and I'm trying to get away from it. One dream was where these Godzilla-like things were chasing me, believe it or not. I mean, I'm just giving you the short version here of everything.
Right.
But then it showed me some stuff where it showed me how it was like to fly. And it started off with what I'm considering like a basic flying technique. And then I moved up as time went on into a more advanced fly-in scenarios to where I think it was testing me to see if I can maneuver through this, well, I'm going to call it some kind of machine. And then after I seen him that morning, I have never had a dream since then. And I did, after 2 years, finally get the courage up, and I got a hold of the MUFON investigator here in New York at Niagara County Community College. He's a teacher. And I talked, and we talked for hours. In fact, I think I don't know if I had 2 meetings or one. But I did talk with Betty and Barney Hill's niece down in Florida at the MUFON Center. And she told me that my experience, there's been other people that have had it. But she told me that people have been sucked up through the walls and ceilings before.
Right.
So, but that didn't happen. So I just want to make sure that your listeners know that whatever it was, it didn't hurt me at all. And I'm going to say it was a positive experience, because I'll tell you what, I feel a lot better since that morning.
Would you? It also sounds like you would do it again, right? You wouldn't have any issues.
If I had a choice, absolutely. Man, I can't keep my eyes off the stars. I just
right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I watch Ancient Aliens on TV, and I did before that happened too. So,
right. Yeah, I can't. I do this, Steve. I do the same thing now. Rita and I, when we go outside, that's all we do is we look at the stars. We're hoping something's going to move around like it did for us.
Exactly.
At Contact in the Desert. Steve, listen, write Rita at jimmychurchradio.com, okay? I've got your information right here. Send us your address, okay? And we'll get a really cool book in the mail to you.
Oh, I appreciate that, Jimmy, big time, and I can't thank you enough for having me on the air.
Yeah, thank you so much, Steve. Great experience, great phone call. Thank you, my friend.
Have a good night.
You too. That's what I'm talking about right there. Steve from New York. Thank you so much. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Oh, this is Lance Stanislaw.
Hi,
Lance Lakes.
Hi, Lance in Santa Fe. How are you tonight?
Oh, it's Mammoth Lakes.
Oh, Mammoth Lakes. You're right here.
The ski resort.
Yeah, man. Oh, I've been to Mammoth Lakes many, many times. I used to mountain bike kamikaze.
No shit.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. Oh, no foul language, Lance, but I'm just as excited as you are.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No, I was just calling. I wanted to find out an address to send you a paper that I'm writing regarding the Pyramid of Giza and its multiple uses, and what the capstone was actually made out of, according to some of the information that I've gotten.
Right.
And I just wanted to send that to you because it's kind of interesting, and I know you're really into the Pyramid of Giza.
Right. Well, if you want to send it snail mail, which I understand, just shoot Rita an email, Rita at jimmychurchradio.com, and then we will send you our address where you can do a snail mail. Okay.
Okay, Rita at
JimmyChurchRadio.com. And you can also write us...
JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Yeah, and you can also do it straight through the website, too, as well. Lance, before I let you go, I want to thank you for the phone call, but where are you getting your information from?
Well, a gentleman several years back, he came out and had a very small, eclectic little get-together regarding Ormus material, or orbitally rearranged monatomic elements.
Right.
And he informed me a whole bunch of stuff and really got me into the Ormus world, and which I'm kind of becoming more and more familiar with. And there's some really eclectic information about the capstone and the pyramid being made out of gold Ormus material that was specially, let's say, formulated and turned into kind of a glass substance, and it collects a light, light, and the darn thing just glows at night.
Wow.
Yeah, like a purple glow. And I've gotten a little. If you take gold Ormus and you process it with this type of, let's just say Brown's gas, and it turns into it could actually take Ormus and turn it into this hard glass substance that's very, very hard, but it absorbs light, and at night it just glows this awesome purple color.
Wow. Well, Lance, you need to write me and send me this information. I would love to. Would love to check it out.
I'm just trying to put together a paper for you because I know you're so interested in that stuff, and I thought, hell, you might be real interested in this.
Absolutely, there is nothing like the Great Pyramid of Giza or information about what's going on out there. That's my favorite subject, Lance. So please. Shoot us an email, and we'll give you an address so you can take care of that. I would love to check it out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm kind of computer illiterate, technically. So I just need an email address to get, I'll send you an email address so I can find out,
it's very
snail mail address so I can send you these papers.
Yeah, it's very simple. Just go to our website and go to Contact Us. That's all you got to do. You don't even need an email address. Just go there, boom, done, and it'll send it to us automatically.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Lance.
Thank you so much. And you're the awesomest talk show host ever, man.
Oh, man. You could do the same thing that I do, Lance. Trust me.
Well, I'm not a big public speaker type guy, but I just have tons and tons of information. I'm an information freak type guy, and across the board on lots of subjects. And I just really thought try to put this information about the multiple purposes of the pyramid and what the capstone was made out of, according to my sources.
Thank you so much, Lance, and I look forward to reading it. Thank you so much, and be safe out there. All right. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Thank you, Lance, for that phone call. You're live on Fade to Black right now. Who's calling?
Yeah, Jimmy Church Radio. This is Brad.
Hey, Brad. What are you doing?
I'm calling you just to commend you on just an awesome job you're doing. I know you're wrapping it up, so I want to be quick. And just, man, doing a great show. Listen to Gabriel. Just really slowed down my memory and started popping up a couple things that happened, and then especially with Whitley last night. I mean, dude, you're like knocking it out of the park this year, dude. You're just coming in strong.
Man, it's easy, man. It's easy when we have an audience like this, Brad. If you think about that, that's half the battle right there. We have the best audience, the best family, the best group of people. And all of the people that you want to hear from are the same ones that I want to hear from. So it all just kind of works, you know what I mean? And it's pretty cool.
The unspoken faders too, like all the boys and the fine women calling in tonight, sharing their stories. It's a very needed community, and although sometimes some people are nervous calling in, it's so needed to do it, and And I appreciate it. I'm sure many, if not millions, of people appreciate it. They're listening, Jimmy.
Thank you so much,
Hats
Brad.
off to you. Happy 600, brother.
Can you believe it?
We're going to go to 6,000, I think. Let's do this, baby.
Yeah, let's do it. 6,000 is a good number. Thank you so much, Brad, and be safe out there. And we'll see you at Contact in the Desert. Are you going to Conscious?
See you at LifeCon. Baby.
Yeah, Conscious Life. I'll see you there, man. Yeah. Bring your shirt, okay?
I'll be there, standing strong, baby, representing.
You got it. Thank you so much, Brad. Be safe. We'll see you next week.
Good night. One love.
That's what I'm talking about. All right. So I've got time for maybe 2 more calls here. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, it's Eric.
Hey, Eric, what's going on?
Just got back from Shasta. 8 feet of snow up there, and we just had a great time. Went up on the mountain up there, and I got a quick story I could tell because you got a lot of great calls tonight. So I didn't have an actual encounter, although we did take a picture of the sun, and right next to the sun there was this cloud, and I've never seen a rainbow cloud before. It was literally a rainbow cloud.
Oh, that's cool.
And then and I'll post some pictures. And then so we didn't see when we took the picture. I took one and Tiffany took one, 2 different cameras. And then after we looked at the picture, there was this orb thing that showed up in the picture. So, but the reason I'm calling is I met this guy named Jonathan Shalimar at what was the name of the Soul Connection bookstore in Mount Shasta.
Okay.
And he's putting together an event on July 7th. You've been to Shasta before, haven't you?
Oh yeah, many times.
So would you be receptive if the schedule's open to be a part of an event on July 7th, 8th, and 9th that weekend?
Well, the only issue with that, and I hate to say this on the air, but Roswell is going on that weekend. Or the weekend before. Yeah, that's so we would be just getting back from Roswell.
Is Roswell the 4th of July weekend? Or
yep,
it's
it's the 4th of July weekend every year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's going to be too much for you, probably.
Oof. Okay, we'll have to talk about that. Let's talk about that off the air.
I'll tell you more. I'll send Rita and you some information about it. But this guy put on a weed, is what it's the College of Weed. He's putting on the State of Gaia. And Laura Eisenhower and Laura McDonald, a lot of the people that you've had on your show, he's already contacted. He's got scheduled.
Right.
I told him I'd call you and see if you can come.
Well,
but he had David Icke up there 10 years ago.
Right.
He said that if David Icke stayed on his property, he told me, I'll tell you these stories at another time because they're too long, but he said he thinks it changed David Icke's life 10 years ago. He literally stayed on this mountain cabin they had up there with no electricity. It was off the grid.
Right.
And he said he's told me all sorts of stories of sightings and experiences that he
All right. Well, we'll talk about it off the air, Eric. I'm just glad that you're back and safe.
Right on, man.
All right.
Soon. Take care.
Yeah, I'll see you at Conscious Life. Thank you so much.
You got it, buddy.
All right, you got it. All right. One more quick phone call before we wrap things up. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Jimmy Church, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Who's calling?
This is Matt. I live right near Silver Lake.
You live right near Silver Lake?
Yeah, I'm a local boy.
Yeah, you are, man. Okay. All right, prove it to me. What part of Silver Lake?
Reservoir Street, 2810. Kind of right near the Thirsty Crow.
Yep.
Silver Sun Liquors, Silver Sun Pickups.
No, exactly. I've been to that liquor store.
Yeah, and Silver Lake Lounge, right across the street.
You're right across the street. There's a little fork in the road. You go to the right, and you head right up the hill.
And you were there.
And you were there. I know that, man. That's that. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you, Matt, and we're almost out of time. But 20 years ago, that was not the place to be. Today,
I know that.
No, today
I wasn't there then, but I certainly have heard stories.
You've heard the stories, but today, that is the hangout, man. That is the cool part of L.A. All right, Matt, I've got 60 seconds here.
All right, real quick.
Sure.
I was super intrigued by your description of the Cedarville UFO sighting.
Right.
And I went online. I'm pretty sure I found the picture.
Right. I
just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if you were aware because I think you had said that you had done a search and couldn't come up with it.
Right, and I ended up finding what everybody else has found too. I've gotten 15 or 20 emails in the last 24 hours.
Right. I hadn't listened earlier in the show, and I was like, somebody's bound to have looked or found it by now. But I figured I'd just throw it out there.
Yeah,
I saw it. Your description was awesome. Then I saw it. I was like, "Whoa, that's it."
That's it.
And compared it with the photo of the drawing.
Right. And the thing is about that particular image, and believe me, everybody has sent it to me. So I'll say this really quick, Matt, and don't forget, write Rita at jimmychurchradio.com, and we'll send you a book in the mail. Okay, so don't forget that. Let me get that out of the way. Second,
thanks, brother.
That picture that everybody is a small portion of the actual photograph. That's the first thing. Second, it's very blurry. The high-res version that I have of it, you can see the gold domes and everything else that I refer to. You can't see it in that image. It's
it's barely there. You can in the picture I've seen there's some discoloration, between the body, and you can definitely, accompanied from what you said in the picture, you can definitely put it together. But
right.
What a photo!
What a photo! Is that trippy or what?
It's made by the Polaroid. That's it.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, Matt, I got to get out of here, man. It's the end of the show.
All right, brother. Love the show. It's been great this year. Always tuning, man. Keep it up. Awesome.
Don't forget to write Rita, okay?
Will do, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. That's what I'm talking about. Local, right there. Silver Lake getting in. Les, wow, what a show tonight. How are you?
Happy 600, my brother.
Yeah, man. Well, now it's at 602, so.
Yeah, I know. But still, happy 600.
Yeah,
Can you believe you freaking made it to 600?
Yeah. No.
I can.
No.
I can.
No, I can't. I'm telling you right now. The numbers sneak up on you. One day you're at, 310, and then, then you're at 399. It's pretty bizarre how it happened. 600 just kind of snuck up on us. And so, you know what? We'll just hang out, and then we'll throw a big one when we get to 1,000.
Yeah, it's kind of what Nori said. When you get to 3,000, call me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's really true. And he doesn't, the way that he does it, he has no idea what show number he's at anymore. Me and the rest of you, it stares at us in the face every day because we just started numbering it for some reason, and the tradition has just kind of wrote itself out, and so it stares at me every day.
Well, every show is amazing, and every show is a new experience. And as you know, as I know, the family that's growing around the show is an experience unto itself. And it's you brought something to internet radio that was sorely lacking, and a lot of people have migrated to it, and a lot more people are going to migrate to it.
Yep, it's grown, and you know what's the best part about it, before I say those famous words, Les, take us out of here. This is the crazy thing. 100% organic. We've done no advertising. We've done nothing. It's only been word of mouth and going on the air. That's all we've done. And this thing has grown all on its own. And that's the best part about it. And that's it. That's it. It's just the audience and you guys. That's what the success of the show. So, and with that, Les, we've got 90 seconds. Get us out of here, brother.
Yes, sir. First of all, special thanks to Jon Rappoport and all the first-time callers and Fadernauts who phoned home tonight. Fade to Black executive producer is Rita Camarion. Special thanks to LJ3, that's me, Renee Jonas Mark. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Brother Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Faded by Dale. Webmaster is Drew, the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA The Planet. And with that, for another week, Jimmy and I are out of here.
Thank you so much, Les. Be safe, man, and we'll see you on Monday.
See you Monday. Good night.
That's what I'm talking about, LJ3. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2016 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. Thank you, Ronnie McMullen. Thank you, Jon Rappoport. And thank you to everyone that called in tonight and hung out in the tweet deck and, of course, all the chat rooms. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Everybody be safe. Go back, Lee Tappy.
Wow.